Welcome back to the pod, Ami.
Thank you so much for having me again. Second time around, man. We got a lot to talk about. It's been a very fun season. I would say probably make more chaotic than last season, but we'll definitely get into it.
Okay, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Are you happy that it's over?
Yeah. To be honest, yes. And this happens at the end of every season, man. I'm like, there's always the point. I think this season was different though, because they came to a point the same time, like in January, when we're like, how the hell is the ceremony still 2 months away? It was, I think, a week later than last year. It was kind of ridiculous. But after SAG, like things got really interesting and unpredictable, and then it became fun. But so I miss that part of it, but I don't miss back in January and Feb when it was just so boring, man. Like we knew what was happening. Yeah, but it happens every season.
Yeah, it was such a long award season. I I I felt I had it marked in my calendar as the Oscars because we're cinephiles. We love this stuff, and
Yeah.
I was chomping at the bit. I'm like, oh, what? How close are we getting? Oh, we're not there yet. Oh my God, we've got 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
It-
And it came to the point on the last few weeks with some of those controversies with Jesse Buckley and the Cats and Timothy Chalamet and the whole ballet and opera thing, which is still going. It just came to a point where it's like, guys, let's wrap this up.
yeah,
Let's wrap this.
yeah, like before that stuff started, the Oscars should have been the week before any of that began.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. It could have been like a month ago.
yeah, but they didn't do that. So hopefully next year they decide to, you know, I don't know, expand on it or no, shorten it to where they do it earlier and we have a shorter award season. You can still do the
Yeah.
releases from January to December. You don't have to have the 4 months of campaigning and
Yeah.
campaigning that everyone did.
I think something else that's really and not necessarily annoying, but really interesting about the award season being how long it is that this time last year, Sinners had come out pretty much in a week. I mean, if we're looking at this year, like just thinking about it generally, Project Hail Mary is coming out this weekend. We could genuinely still be talking about it in a year's time. And I know that March releases or April releases don't usually get, awarded the Oscars, but now that like with everything everywhere getting awarded and then Sinners and maybe Project Hail Mary, like it just shows how long award season can be. Like a year later, we're still talking about these films.
Yeah, like everyone talks about, it's normally those movies released from October, September to December. Those are the ones that typically get nominated. Those are considered awards movies. But most of the awards movies we got this year were released this time and in the summer, which is completely unheard of. It's
Yeah,
it's
it
crazy.
was.
It's wild. Like the blockbuster season, they're like, "Oh yeah, these movies were great. Let's nominate 'em for Oscars," and you just don't think about it. Even Silence of the Lambs, that was a rare one. It was Valentine's Day of '91, and it
Wow.
lasted all the way until the next
Oh
award
wow.
season, and that's
Wait,
crazy.
being released on Valentine's Day for the Science of the Lambs, I
I
can't,
know that's
I
such
can't
a
imagine that.
that and Gone Girl, horrible date movies.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. We'll see what happens this year. But I really think that they should put it January or February. I think that would be great. So we can all just move on.
I agree. Okay, so did you do the letterbox Oscar ballot?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Printed out every year.
Okay. Oh, you're good. How right were you?
Okay. So I got 18 out of 25. I think that was about 75%, which I was really happy with. For how unpredictable things were, like I'm really happy with what happened, but I could have done a lot better. And I'll tell you what I predicted for picture, and we'll go into that. But yeah, what about you? How did you do?
I'm counting right now.
I would say we,
I think I got 16. Yeah, I got 16 or 17. I was pretty close in the 75% range.
yeah, but I think you could have absolutely gotten 100%. Like if you, it's not, like nothing was out of left field there were not really many surprises. The number one frontrunner was pretty consistent, except for in a few categories, but you could have definitely gotten 100% this season.
Yeah, and some people were just throwing out weird picks
Yeah.
near the end. They're like, "Oh, this is gonna come through," and I'm like, "No, no, it's over,
Mm,
it's over." But
yeah.
okay, so what category do you want to start with? We'll just
I
talk
think we
about it.
have to start with Best Picture.
Okay, yeah,
I think there was a
one battle won, and I was so excited. I'd done a project like a few friends of mine. We were like, "Oh, let's one battle's coming out. Let's just watch all of Paul Thomas Anderson's projects." So I watched all of this stuff, all the shorts, all his documentary, everything, up to one battle after another, and I was like, "This guy is incredible. I love his work." And I'd seen Cinders at that point, but I'm like, "This might be the best picture of 2025,"
Mm,
and it was.
yeah. Yeah, it was your favorite movie?
I'm trying to think what would have been my it might be my favorite movie of 2025. That and Sinners, actually, they're probably tied. They both
Yeah.
were completely different, but yet the same. Both films about America, certain themes, different stories, very just so many different things. Each different in their own way, and that's what I liked. But one battle might be a smidge above, but not by much.
Mm. Yeah, I think we just have to just first of all state how incredible the slate was this year, especially with the two front runners, one battle after another in Sinners. How lucky are we that either film, which either could have swept, I mean, one battle pretty much swept, but either one which absolutely could have won Best Picture in any year, and we got them in the same year. Ultimately, only one of them could win. But yeah, we were really, really lucky by getting, I would say, Ryan Coogler's best film and Paul Thomas Anderson's best film in the same year. It was
And
very lucky.
it was like and there are people already complaining, "Oh, Sinners should have won, One Battle shouldn't have." It's like, guys, you don't understand how good we had it in 2025. And, like, we had it so good. And the rest of the nominees too, they were hit or miss for me, honestly. The Secret Agent, the only thing I really enjoyed was Wagner Moore's performance. Other than that, the first 5 minutes were good, and then
Yeah.
it just moved at a snail's pace, and I could not handle it, and I tried and I tried. And then I also watched Train Dreams, and it looked great, but that was pretty much it. If I felt
Mm.
empty after watching it, I felt empty after watching F1. Those 3 movies didn't really hit, like, everyone else was like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like, "No." And even Hamnet didn't really hit as well. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's the story of grief," and I've seen films do grief better, and Hamnet didn't really do it for me. But, like, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Frankenstein, Sinners, those were way better than Hamnet, Train Dreams. Oh, even Begonia. Begonia was great. I love that film. But Train Dreams, F1, The Secret Agent, and Hamnet, they were meh. I would have replaced them with
Mm.
something, but I don't know
Yeah,
what.
I have to agree with you on The Secret Agent. The opening was great. Wagner Moore was great. And to be honest, I fell asleep the first time I watched it.
It's so bad.
Um, look, love the Brazilians out there. I love your passion, and you guys got many films and performances nominated. So, all power to you. But, yeah, it was a real slow one. After nomination morning, I did rewatch it just in case I missed something. I did not. I did not miss anything.
Okay, good,
No.
because I'm like, maybe I should rewatch it. And okay, good. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's exactly as you think. But I would say I have to disagree with you. I say Hamnet, and my top three of what was nominated are Train Dreams, Hamnet, and Sinners. I just love Train Dreams. I think so simple, it's shot so beautifully. Of course, the score is so beautiful. It's just such a simple story. I just really loved it. And Hamnet, I understand You see Grief has been done better. But I just love the way that it contextualizes it in terms of art and preserving it, and just Jesse Buckley was just incredible. Um, but F1, I agree. F1 was best picture worthy, maybe, as in the techs are great, so give it those nominations. But I wouldn't say it needs best picture, and it was just an accident of a very, very well-deserved nomination. So I'm not really happy about F1 for that reason.
Yeah,
Frankenstein as well. It's so. I didn't love it as much as other people. I thought Jacob Elordi was great, but I thought it was just a bit Netflix-y in terms of how it looked and how it felt, which I feel really bad about because Guillermo del Toro doing Frankenstein with this big budget, like I feel like it should have been amazing, but it did fall a bit flat for me.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing about film. It's subjective, so everyone has their own opinions. But like F1, I watched it, and after it was over, I think I wrote in my letterbox review was, it's like Top Gun Maverick with cars, but with
Exactly.
no story. Like
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick had a story, but F1 had no story. It was just like drive
Yeah.
cars, like cars go vroom. That's it.
hmm
And
Joseph Kaczynski, he's good at what he does. He's done the sky, he's done the land. He needs to do the sea next. It's impressive what he does, but yeah, I'd say Top Gun is the better of the two by far.
it definitely was. And I mean, we haven't really talked about Begonia or Marty Supreme or Sentimental Value. I guess we'll talk about those. Begonia was great. It was the first Yorgos Lanthimos film I've seen.
Oh
I
wow.
I need to watch The Favorite. I need to watch Poor Things. I don't know. I've fallen behind. The cinephile community is probably going to stone me or something for that. But it was fantastic. Emma Stone was great. Jesse Plemons was great. And it was so intriguing. And that ending, though, I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
love that ending.
in my letterbox review, I said she literally went pop to the earth and it was over. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was like I love Yorgos Lanthimos. I love Emma Stone. I love their collaborations. I really like Kinds of Kindness, which is, I would say, an incredibly underrated film. I highly recommend everyone to see it. It's weird, it's out there, but go watch it anyway. But yeah, Begonia was incredible. I thought the script was so well written by Will Tracy, who did The Menu, like the power dynamics, and they're like Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone are so commanding in their roles, and you never know who's controlling the situation. Is she an alien? Is she not? There's so many questions that were just built the tension. It was incredible, and the ending too. I loved it. I loved like what it symbolized, especially the montage at the end with "Where Did All the Flowers Go?" That song. It was a very special film. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was really great. Frankenstein, I mean, I'm with you. It was kind of Netflixy, but I knew. Okay, we'll get to supporting actor. I'm not going to talk about Jacob Elordi right now, but I liked it. I mean, it's not at the level of Nightmare Alley or The Shape of Water or Crimson Peak. Nothing that high, or Pinocchio even, but it was really good. I thought at least. Marty Supreme, I would go back and experience that in theaters again.
Did you see with the crowd like opening weekend? Was it like a really fun experience?
Sadly, my crowd wasn't like as hyped, but
Oh no.
I mean, I do remember when the opening credits come on. It's just the sperm. I remember everyone just looking around like, "Are we? What is going on? Like, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" Like, it was like you could hear the murmurs of people just like giggling. It'd be really immature. But like as the movie progressed, though, you could tell that you could feel the energy in the theater, them being frustrated with Marty and his decisions and one mistake after another, after another, after another, after another. And even all the people after the movie was over, they're like, "Oh, Marty Supreme sucked." There's controversy. His character's terrible. I'm like, that's the entire point. It's not like even the quote, dream big. Everyone's like, "Oh, I don't want to be like Marty." I'm like, guys, you're not supposed to be like him. He's supposed to be a parable or, I can't even think of the right word of what not to be. Everything he
Mhm.
does, don't do.
Yeah.
And he's so
I
ambitious.
love
He's so ambitious, it bites him in the butt, and
I loved his character. I love that they didn't give him a redemption arc at the end. I
no.
mean, I thought the ending was pretty, like, it was very cool, very, like, out of left field. But, yeah, I loved that. And I know some people complain that, like, he wasn't held responsible for his actions, like, he didn't have any consequences, but that's not the point. Like, the point of the film is not to reprimand this guy. It's to because it's not reprimanding this guy. It's showing that actually what he's doing. Like, don't be afraid of chasing your dreams or be afraid of dreaming big. Like the people that are dreaming big and going out and chasing their goals, these are the ones that are making things happen. And so I really like the movie's stance on that.
But
And
I
Timmy Chalamet was, of course,
Yeah,
incredible.
he was great, but I also think it's you can chase your dreams, just do it about a different way than what Marty's
Oh
doing.
yeah, for sure.
Because,
Yeah,
if you do it his way, it's definitely gonna cause some major, major complications.
yeah,
Yeah, but
no, absolutely.
it was great. I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. Uh,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
it's a must-have. Okay, I guess let's see. Trained. I guess we've talked about all the Best Picture nominees briefly. No, sentimental value. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. So sentimental value, that was I really like that film. I just think it's a very simple film from the outset, but the screenplay is so much nuance and the themes are so rich and the acting's really good. The acting is really, really good, but it's a showcase. I think sentimental value and Mighty Supreme are on like the complete opposite ends. With that Mighty Supreme, like Timmy's just going at it so hard. And in sentimental value, like it's just if you look at their eyes, if you look at just their faces, like you get so much. I think Renata Reinsva did such a good job at that. I think I didn't like The Worst Person in the World, which was Joachim Trier's and Renata. I know.
No.
Their last collaboration, I didn't really like it. To be honest, I don't remember why. I just don't remember it being really interested in it. But this one
Try it
was great.
again. Okay, try
Yeah,
it again.
maybe I'll try it. I'll have to try it again. But yeah, the sentimental value I really, really enjoyed. Um, I wish the screenplay maybe got a bit more love. But I was happy with how it did overall in the season.
When I first watched it, I kind of felt I was like 3.5 stars. I'm like, eh. And then the more clips and stuff I've seen of it, the more I was like, holy crap. I'm not going to go back and redo the letterbox grading until I rewatch the movie, but the more I've seen scenes of it, I'm just like, I get these people, and everyone is so, I say the word emotionally constipated because they do not know how to talk to each other. And all it is just grudges, but they won't talk about why, or these
Mm,
feelings, and they won't talk about why. And I'm just like, oh, it's so European. You guys aren't talking about your feelings. Like, you know, in American movies, we're very much like, we tell it. Sometimes we over explain, and everything. But in European, it's very restrained. And the characters were so restrained that even I was like, oh my gosh, just talk. But they
yeah,
won't do it. Oh,
yeah. No, I really loved that film. It was yeah. I really like just overall all the different genres and all the different ways that like all these films approached. I think family is probably the main theme of all these films. I think it's resonant in like, Train Dreams and Hamnet and Sinners and What Battle and Sentimental Value, Mighty Supreme. And I think the way that all these films tackled it, like some really overtly and some just really subtly and really quietly, like Sentimental Value. And so I thought the different approaches to it were really, really awesome.
yeah, they were. I guess family was a theme. I mean, it's in every movie in some way, shape, or form. Cousins, sisters, parents, and children. Creator and creation. It's all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a lot of films that you can go back and rewatch. It's not like some of the older Academy years where everything was so stuffy and boring that you can't pick it up and watch it again. Like we had so many rewatchable films that came
Yeah.
out.
It was great. It was
It
really
was
good. But
great.
yeah, one battle prevailed. One battle won. We knew this from September. To be honest, I was predicting after the 16 nominations, nomination morning for Sinners, I went with Sinners, mostly because I just loved Sinners, but I really thought that it was going to win Best Picture, and I had I knew that it was kind of going to be one battle. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was one battle versus I would be absolutely surprised if it was Sinners, but I was really holding out hope, man. But of course, as the night went on, you could really tell what was going to be.
I mean, I knew from like even if the 16 nominations, I'm thinking it's one battle. I predicted one battle. I'm like, I'm the black guy. You think I would do Sinners, but I'm like, no, it's one battle. Like that. That's what they're gonna pick, and they did, and everyone was holding out for it. But I knew they wouldn't. But honestly, my pick still would have been one battle after another, and not Sinners. But we can't take it back now.
No, can't take it back now. But it absolutely was the closest race. I haven't followed all award seasons as closely as I have the last few years, but I reckon it's probably the closest race, even more so than like La La Land and Moonlight or Shape of Water and Green Book or even Parasite in 1917, just because both films were so like Sinners was unstoppable, but One Battle was like an immovable object. And you just can't, you just couldn't, there was nothing like it. It was really, really 50-50, I reckon, going into the night. But of course, a lot of people like yourself, yeah, you knew it was one battle.
Yeah, I mean, there were two behemoths of a film, and like you said, I don't think there have been because everything seems to just. I don't. I mean, even though one battle was sweeping, they were still neck and neck
Mm, yeah.
because of popularity. I don't think we have had that in Best Pictures. Like the year Coda won, everyone was like, "It's going to be The Power of the Dog." That didn't happen. Coda won,
Mm,
which I like. I'm not going to say anything bad about Coda or The Power of the Dog. They were both great films, each in their own way, but they were not behemoths like One Battle and Sinners. Like even the Everything Everywhere All at Once year, that movie just didn't have there was nothing in competition with it. It was just sweeping everything and that's it. Everyone was like, "All
mhm,
Quiet on the Western Front," but even then it was still so far behind and not
mhm.
neck and neck. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing was that each of those situations that you mentioned, like the front runner has something that the second place doesn't have, whereas with Sinners in One Battle, like they both had acting prospects, they both won screenplay, they both had 13 plus nominations, they both had undefeatable packages. And so it wasn't like one was weaker than the other, one was seen more as the critic's pick than the other. No, like they both had the box office, they both had the audience scores, they both had the critic scores. It was really tough. So I think it was a very entertaining two horse race to see what was taking which prizes and where someone could surprise and where someone didn't and where they underperformed or overperformed. I think it was really, really interesting to see.
It was. Okay, next category. What do you want to talk about?
Let's get best actress out of the way
Okay, best
because
actress. Okay, it was such a
we
shocker. Jessie Buckley won. Oh my
who
god.
knew?
I'm
Who
dead.
knew?
I know. I wish it was Rose Byrne. It should have been.
Really?
It should
Did
have
you,
been.
do you didn't like Hamnet because of Jesse Buckley or?
No, I like Jessie Buckley as an actress. It was not the best actress of the year. It was Rose Byrne. For me, Hamnet was one of those movies was the movie that felt Oscar bait. I don't know why, but it did, and everyone was pushing so hard. I guess I felt underwhelmed, but everyone was pushing so hard for Rose Byrne when I seen it. I felt I knew exactly like her character had so much more to offer than Agnes did in Hamnet. Like Agnes is,
Mhm.
I have my hawk. I'm kind of a wishy woman. I have my kids. My kid dies. I'm sad. Okay, that's it. Rose Byrne is my house. My apartment has a hole in the roof. My husband's away all the time. I have a needy child that is also has a medical condition that needs constant care. I'm a psychiatrist. I have patients that constantly bug me. I have a patient that leaves a baby with me, and I have to track her husband down so he can get the baby, and my therapist is like, "I'm not talking to you today," or "Quit dumping patients on me and hard on me," and she has a guy berating her about parking spots, and it goes on and on and on and on, and I'm like, "See, this woman is going through it."
Yeah,
And
she absolutely was in the film.
she
She definitely was.
yeah, I mean, I was like, Rose Byrne should have had the Oscar, not Jessie Buckley.
Mhm. I think the I didn't like. I'm assuming you really liked If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So, I didn't like the film as much. I really liked Rose Byrne's performance. I'm really happy for her. And I think the nomination was the win because it's such a tough film. I think there's a few like more in the cinephile letterbox range, that loved the film. Because I think for a mainstream audience, it was a bit more difficult. So I think her just getting the nomination was super impressive, and winning the Golden Globe, of course, was really cool. But yeah, Jesse Buckley just had it was really that end scene in Hamlet that did it because you watch the end scene, you bawl your eyes out because of Jesse Buckley and because of, the music, of course. And then you leave the theater thinking about that, and Best Actress turns into the Jesse Buckley Award across all the ceremonies.
Yeah, she was just sweeping everything. It was the most unexciting acting grace of the entire season.
Yeah.
All the other categories, you're like, who knows? Who could it be? We'll find out on Oscar Sunday, but on her categories, I it's going to be Jessie Buckley. Okay, everyone just, you're going to win all your bets on that. So,
Yeah. I loved how different it was from the last few seasons, especially last season, whereas between Mikey Madison and Demi Moore, how Best Actress, this one was locked up, and like the other categories were super interesting. Best Actress was we just left it alone, which never happens. It's usually Best Actress that is the fun one. So I thought that was really cool that Best Actor we had a bit of fun with Best Actor.
yeah, I think we had a bit of fun with the other three, supporting actor and supporting actress too, because you just didn't know. It was such a loaded year for acting performances that even the nominations morning, you didn't know who was going to get nominated because it was such a loaded year. And I'm glad we got the nominees that we got, but it, it was a fantastic year. 2025, I'll brag about that year. It was up there with 2019 and, so many
Yeah.
others. But uh, Jesse Buckley, though, is eh. But the other
So,
nominee, yeah, I wasn't a fan of Hamnet that much.
hmm. Well, then, well, I guess you might be. Were you happy about Paul Mescal not being nominated, not being snubbed?
I liked him better as Shakespeare. Like, I mean, I had him in the supporting actor, but he didn't get in, and I'm like, oh, it sucks. But then I was also happy with the other nominations, so couldn't really complain.
Yeah, he was great. I loved Paul Mescal in Hamnet, but he should have, I would have put him in the lead actor category personally.
That
Uh,
might have killed him
yeah,
not getting put in lead, but
yeah. But I think he just was missing stuff. I can't believe he was missing stuff. Because Hamnet was such a big film and he was such a big part of it. But I think the passion for certain other films like overtook him, and people just weren't seeing it as much. It was like the Jesse Buckley show, the Jesse Buckley Award. And Paul Mescal was just there.
yeah, I mean, at least Paul got to go to all the fancy dinners and awards and all that
Yeah,
stuff. I mean,
yeah,
even if he wasn't nominated, he got free food and stuff out of it. So,
yeah.
okay,
It's nice.
did you see Song Sung Blue with Kate Hudson?
I did. I did watch Song Sung Blue. I watched it the night before Oscar nominations were announced because I was worried that Kate Hudson would get the nomination, and I predicted that correctly, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not so proud that she got the nomination because I didn't love the film. The film was pretty bad. Have you seen it? Because I don't want to spoil it because
I have seen it. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay.
It
So
was
for everyone listening, you wouldn't think that something like this could have spoilers, but man, there are some twists and turns that you wouldn't expect from Song Song Blue. But yeah, I didn't really love her performance. I think she should have got hit by a car again.
Oh,
at the end.
Lord. I mean, she almost
She
did, but
almost did.
she didn't. I mean, I think I think her character. I mean, I talked to Kristen Lopez. She's a disabled film critic and author, and she wrote a book about disability representation. And I asked her about Kate Hudson's Songs in Blue. She said the movie was okay. They messed up the character's representation of her disability and made it, have her hallucinating and everything. And because of that, it kind of lost focus of the story, making it more about like, oh, I'm disabled and I'm depressed. And she's like, every movie about disability does not need to be I'm disabled and I'm depressed. And it
Yeah.
made perfect sense. But it's not Kate's fault. It's the screenplay. I mean, she didn't write the screenplay and she was just acting. I mean, she gets paid to act the screenplay. So that's what the screenplay had. And she's acting. She couldn't help it. But I mean, you couldn't help but like her character. I mean, her character wasn't a horrible human being, but it wasn't the strongest Best Actress nomination. But one, Kate was just killing it in the award circuit. She had a great time with Grogu at the Oscars. She was just happy to be
Yeah.
there. She probably knew she wasn't going to win, and that's okay. She was just there and having a great time.
Yeah, I think nominations like that it's it's interesting, not my pick, but I think we're still seeing, even after the Academy brought in a whole heap of an international body, we're still seeing sort of remnants of the old Academy in nominations like Kate Hudson for Songs on Blue or F1 in Best Picture, or even when Annette Bening got nominated for Naiad 2 years back. I think we're still seeing some things like that, but I'm happy we're kind of moving away from the happy-go-lucky like biopic performances and
Yeah,
films.
we're not getting many biopics, which is nice because you don't have to
Mm,
see based on a true story and then see the 500 YouTube videos and articles after that says, here's what they got right and wrong. It's just like if you watch a fictional story, you're just following it, bam, bam, done. The other nominees, I mean, Renata Reinsve, she was great in Sentimental Value. She's really taking off these past few years since Worst Person in the World. Just she is going. I mean, her next project I think is with Sebastian Stan again.
hmm Yeah, which is I'm very excited for that film because her one before Sentimental Value was also Sebastian Stan in A Different Man, which I really loved that film. She looked really different in that role. I didn't know it was her at first, but yeah, between that and Sentimental Value, I'm very excited for Fjord, which is coming out later this year.
And she's got the back rooms too, but I mean, she's killing it and she's a great actress. She's one of she I'm trying to think of I lost a train of thought. She's one of those actors that never overdoes anything. She is nuanced to a T. She I, every time I see her in anything, I'm like, this woman knows who this person is, what they need to do, and the beginning to the end, inside and out. She plays it to absolute perfection. She makes her characters lovable. Even in Sentimental Value, she doesn't have a great relationship with her father. And even when he's pleading to her to be in his film, she's just like, no, even you're like, come on, I know he wasn't a great father, but please, just do it for him. He's begging you. And she, she's so great at being depressed. And she, I'm terribly describing her performance, but I mean, just
No,
watch
it's
Sentimental Value, listeners, and
yeah.
you'll understand.
And look at Renata Reinsve's eyes. They will tell you the whole story.
Oh, yeah.
I completely agree. She does not overdo it. It's what's so good about her performance. I would have loved her to win, but Jessie Buckley just kept on crying and screaming.
Sadly. Sadly,
Yeah,
that's the one win I have issue with acting wise. But uh, and then finally Emma Stone and Begonia. She was fantastic. It was
yeah,
so weird. It was so fun, and she was kind of scary in parts of it too. And
Yeah.
I mean, Emma Stone as an actor, I'm proud of her because she did not care if she looked ugly in that thing. She shaved her head. She did it all and still kicked butt doing it. And
Yeah.
she
She
was such.
took
Oh, go
she
ahead.
took Oscar buzz serious. She took the word Oscar buzz seriously.
Literally.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was such a great foil to Jesse Plemons' character too. You know
Mm.
that it was. I mean, I love a good movie where two. It's the battle of the mind. Like Misery. It's James Caan and Kathy Bates, and The Silence of the Lambs. It's Jodie Foster and Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins. It's just these battles of the brain of these two people constantly fighting each other mentally, like trying to poke and prod and see how far the other one will go. And I just love that kind of movie. I don't know why, but I just do. And it works so perfectly. And then, like you said, is she an alien? Is she not? It keeps the story even more
Yeah.
interesting. And
I
she just,
think that added layer of like, is she an alien? Is she not? Like, gives her more room to play with the character. Because it's, guys, if you love Pagoni, it's absolutely worth a rewatch because you get to watch her performance and you see it from a different lens. Because I'm not going to spoil it in case anyone's not seen it, but because you end up knowing whether she's an alien or not, and then you can see the acting choices she's making to stir Jesse Plemons either way, and it's really incredible her performance, and I think she's at I don't know how many nominations she's at now as well with the producing credits from
okay, let's see
Poor
here.
Things in Begonia, but
It would
she has
be
Birdman,
Birdman, La La Land, The Favorite,
favorite, Poor Things,
Poor Things, Begonia,
and then she has Begonia and Poor
Begonia,
Things.
and Poor 7 nominations.
Yeah, and she's young still, so I wonder. I think Meryl Streep probably has the most. I reckon Emma
She has
Stone will
20.
surpass her one day.
Meryl has 21.
Okay, maybe not. She'll get
Yeah,
there.
if
She'll
she,
get somewhere
yeah.
close.
I mean, Meryl's in her 70s and she got 20. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Meryl might get another one for Devil Wears Prada too.
Yeah, she might.
I
She
don't
might.
know. There,
But I
but
think Emma Stone's really turning in great performance after great performance.
she is, and I love her newfound collaboration with Yorgos. I mean, I love it when actors find the director that gets them. Like
Yeah.
it's like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. It's like Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. It's certain directors and actors like Denzel Washington, Spike Lee. Like they get each other, and
Hmm.
because of that, they just work perfectly together. And I mean, she hasn't had a project fail with him. I don't know why she would quit working with him now.
No, they're really great together, and they're doing things pretty quickly. Like I think they've had 3 films now in just 3 years. Like I will just keep
Nope.
taking
Yeah,
anything from them.
it's crazy. Okay, what's the next category we want to tackle?
Best actor. Should we go with that one?
Sure.
It's a big
Okay.
one. So
Sponsored by opera and ballet.
yes, what a controversy. What a just I love when there's big fights on Twitter, big discourse on Twitter, and you think back to a week before it happened, and we're like, can you imagine if people are fighting about opera and ballet and Timothy Chalamet? Like it's just such an like incomparable thing. Like it's so random, and I think people are really blowing it out of proportion. But ultimately, it did cost him the Oscar. And like Oscar voting did end the day of, but the controversies building up really cost him the Oscar. I feel bad for him. I
I
feel bad
mean,
for Timmy.
I would understand if it was like, oh, he was in a cult in the past and he escaped, somehow it came up or it was some sort of assault or something very unsavory. But it was his dislike of opera and ballet that really just tanked it. And that is so funny. But I mean, one, I think he thought before he spoke. And when he said that, I mean, he's an artist. Ballet dancers and opera singers, they're artists too. And I mean, that's part of an artistic community. And if you dog that, I feel like you're really going to get like, don't dog other artists when you're an artist because that's really going to bite you in the butt. And it did, but it didn't at the same time because Oscar voting was over. I think, like, from what I've heard and read, people are did not like the character of Marty Supreme, and I think they just didn't wanna give it to him, and if so, they should have given it to him last year
Oh
with
yeah,
Bob
absolutely.
Dylan, and,
Yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, like,
I think there was
why even
so many.
nominate him if you're not even gonna think of giving him the chance?
Mm, it's I feel bad for the guy. He worked really hard, but it's the things like it was sort of out of his control and sort of not. Like, I think the fact that he's still young, which shouldn't be a factor, like, it's called Best Actor, not Best Overaged Actor. Like, I think that's a ridiculous thing that people always bring up, but it is true, and that did affect him. And then I think also just his SAG speech from last year when he said he's striving for greatness, as well as the Mighty Supreme campaign, like while like it did bring a new generation into theaters, which I'm personally really happy about, and I'm sure he is too, but it did cost him the Oscar because of his attitude as Marty. And then I think just Michael B. Jordan, like surging at the right time. You know, he Timmy did win Golden Globe and Critics' Choice. He lost BAFTA, he lost SAG, and just at the right time with Viola Davis's major reaction, Michael B. Jordan just surpassed Timmy, and people were like, "Okay, I guess this is what's happening now." And he lost. He lost.
And the crazy thing is Michael B. Jordan was not campaigning as hard as Timmy,
No way.
and,
No, not at all.
I mean, I feel like I may get criticized for saying this, he was almost at Sean Penn level of not campaigning for anything. I mean, he was
Mm,
doing some interviews, he did variety actors on actors, but he wasn't, like, out there like Timmy was with the jackets and the blimp and everything just being so bold. Like, no one can campaign like Timothy Chalamet can. Like, that guy has turned the Oscar campaign into something completely different. Even last year with A Complete Unknown, it was a completely different campaign than what all the other actors were doing. But I think because he is so bold in his campaigning, he seems so thirsty for it that the Academy is just like, "No." Like, "We're not no, we're not giving it to you."
mm.
Maybe they
Yeah,
see it as, like, a bratty behavior, I don't know, but
I don't
maybe
know.
he's too eager.
We'll see what happens with Dune. I wonder what's going to happen with Dune. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I see
I
people
don't think
predicting it already, and I feel bad. I'm like, guys, it's not going to happen for Timmy. Um, but
mm-mm.
yeah, he should have had an Oscar last year. He should have one this year. I don't know if we'll see the same thing with Leo, where he does a random film and then he just wins for that, which always happens is the overdue narrative. But I'm like, guys, you're saying that Timmy's going to be overdue in a few years. He's due right now. Like, let's give it to him now when he's due for the film rather than complaining about it in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sadly, I'm only Academy Press, but if I was an Academy voter, I would just I would somehow convince my fellow, you know, members of the acting branch. I would be like, "Guys, just ta" I feel like the Academy gets too stuck in narratives. Narratives shouldn't be a factor. It should be the performance and the performance only. We don't need narratives. We don't need campaigns. We don't need any of it. If the performance is worth the award, give it the award. It
Mhm.
should be that simple, but I feel like it is still politicized in the academy, but it's not politicized as we think of it as politics. It's more of narratives and campaigns and how
Well, I
did the
think that
play do on the circuit, and how are they being treated, and what unsavory things can we bring up to see how it sways the race? It's stuff like that.
I think then in your favor, like the Academy, aside from Michael B. Jordan, and you can argue that about Jesse Buckley as well, but the supporting categories, I do think that they really favored performance, and obviously we'll talk about it. But with, not a certain someone not campaigning at all, not even showing up for the Oscar, and, with the other category with ignoring Best Picture nominees and ignoring like who's campaigning the most, like giving it to the best performance. I think we saw that in the supporting actor and actress categories, which I was really happy about because when we see everyone predicting and people are like, okay, well, this person is this and this, and they talk to this and this and this, and that's why they're getting the Oscar. But I predicted, Amy Madigan to win, for example, because I was like, guys, she gave the best performance. Let's look at that. So I
I
was really happy that
I
we
I
had that
predi
happen.
I predicted her too, but we'll get to it when we get there. I mean, we haven't talked about Ethan Hawke or DiCaprio
Oh,
or Wagner Moria yet. Uh, DiCaprio was so funny in one battle after another. I mean, in my screening, it got great laughs. Everyone was enjoying it, and I mean, I still think about the password scene months later.
yes.
Him getting so mad because I mean, we all can relate. We've forgotten a password, and it just never comes because one, he smokes so much pot, his brain is fried. Bless him, and he's just in a perpetual state of being fried, and he can't help it. But I mean, he was so good at this as this man who is, finds his way into this revolutionary group, the French 75, and becomes entranced with Perfidia Beverly Hills, and they have a child, but then she leaves the child with him, and he starts being a dad, but he does raise Willa to be a good human being. Like, even though he smokes a lot of pot and lays around the house all day, he's not a horrible father because he does teach his daughter the skills that she needs to survive. And I mean, I really enjoyed his performance. Should it have won? No, but it was a great nomination nonetheless.
Yeah, I was very happy that Leo got nominated. When he didn't get, I was worried at the beginning of the award season because like we saw with Killers of the Flower Moon, like he kind of wasn't campaigning as much, and we were like letting Lily Gladstone have the awards and wins, and Leo should be nominated for that. So I'm so happy that he got recognized for his work here because he's so funny. It's sort of similar to his other comedic performances, but this is just because of PTA's direction and the nature of the story. It's just like turned up the dial to 11. He's so funny. He's so desperate. Like we want to root for Leo. We want to root for Bob Ferguson, but he's so hopeless. And I just really loved what Leo did with the character, and like this new comedic side of him that is being brought out. I really loved it. So I'm so happy that he was nominated and he wasn't ignored with the nomination.
I am too. And then we have Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, and
Oh,
he was, I don't know, but Blue Moon had a totally different vibe than I expected, and I loved it. I mean, I like Richard Linklater, but it was, I don't know how Ethan Hawke was able to portray a really tiny guy like that. So, like, if you see anything with Ethan Hawke, he's a taller guy, but man, that camera trickery really, even this, even the slight makeup that they did, just you forgot it was Ethan Hawke. Even though
yeah,
he looked like
I don't know how they
Ethan
did it.
Hawke, I don't know how I mean, he looked like Ethan Hawke, but he looked and it didn't look like Ethan Hawke. I can't explain it, but he was so good, and I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, so maybe I need to rewatch it just to get his story and everything back again. But as someone who's separated from his creative partner and sitting there and just reminiscing, and maybe it was a movie just all about nostalgia. I mean, I really enjoyed his performance. That doesn't take away anything from me for getting the plot fully, but it's really good. I'm happy he's there. He hasn't been nominated in 11 years, so thank goodness he made it back to the Academy. Um,
Yeah,
people
I
thought
loved
he
Ethan
was.
Hawke.
I mean, people thought he was going to win. Clayton Davis at Variety was predicting him to win, but it didn't happen.
No, no, he didn't. But yeah, Ethan Hawke was an underrated performance of the year, if I can say that, because he did end up getting an Academy Award nomination. He's so good. The transformation again, like I don't know how they did it. I'm trying to research and find out. Like if they had holes in set, what they like how they did I don't know, but it's pretty incredible. And yeah, he was just just the nature of the story and the screenplay just gave Ethan Hawke so much to work with, like just completely barraging everyone or anyone that he could find with words and words and words. He was just relentless. It was just him performing a giant monologue. Like I want to look at the format of the screenplay to see actually how much he had to learn. But it was incredible. He built this whole character and just just the nature of the film just being set in this one place in this one time on this day and from Ethan Hawke alone we got so much about the circumstances and the character and where he's been and what's going to happen. I loved that performance. I'm so happy for Ethan Hawke that it was nominated. But yeah, just like with all the performances, so underrated. Each one of these, I think none of them get enough praise as they should. And I also think all five of these could be in winning contention. It was definitely a five-horse race going into the night. Any of them could have won. Ultimately, the front runner won, but it genuinely could have been any of the five, and I wouldn't have been surprised.
I agree. And then finally, Wagner Moura in The Secret Agent.
Mm.
He, that first 5 minutes is so tense and great. And then the film just loses its steam somehow after that. But he doesn't, though, in his performance, which is great. And that's why he's nominated. He somehow just kept everything afloat. Um, he was so good. I- I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to become more aware of him. Uh, Brazil might have something to do with him getting nominated, just like Fernando Torres last year. For some reason, I haven't seen them as upset as they were with Fernando Torres losing last year, which is
They
interesting.
thought they thought she was going to win,
Yes,
which I was,
I don't
yeah.
know if they thought he was gonna win. I don't know. It may be 2 weeks down the road and we see Brazilian discourse about it, but who knows?
No, but I haven't seen Narcos, which I think he's more known for in the American mainstream side of the media. But I really liked him in The Secret Agent. I completely agree. Like the opening was incredible. And then yeah, he does maintain the performance, and it's it's good. It's solid. Not my personal pick, but it's subtle enough that it tells you like the story and the history of the effects of this of the Brazilian regime at the time, um, without being too um like visibly upset and like exploitive and all that stuff. I did like Wagner Moura performance. I'm happy he got nominated at least for the Brazilian discourse to not completely erupt because that would have been World War III on Twitter. Um,
Yes.
he was all right. He was all right. It's our like Brazilian actor of the year ticked off.
I feel like that's gonna be a thing now, just like one Brazilian.
I really am curious if it's going to happen this year because these Brazilian, these Brazilians up there, I mean, all power to them, you know?
No one campaigns okay, I take it back. I said no one campaigns harder than Timmy. I revoke that. It's no one campaigns harder than Brazilians. They just
Yes,
they're relentless.
yes, absolutely. Yeah,
But
but Wagner Moura too was at every event. I think he presented nearly at every ceremony, and he won the Golden Globe as well. So I think we might see the trend of Brazilian actor wins Golden Globe,
losing
Brazilian
an
actor
Oscar.
gets nominated. This is Oscar. We'll see. We'll see what happens this next year.
Who knows? And then we have Michael B. Jordan. He won. I mean, he won for playing twins, and that's a
Pretty
feat.
incredible.
That's a feat in its own. I mean, both twins were completely different, separate human beings, even though they look the same. They had completely different personalities and goals, and um, he played perfectly off of Looney and Haley, just creating these characters of Smoke and Stack. And his I don't know how many years, probably 15 years or more collaboration with Ryan Coogler paid off very handsomely Sunday night.
Yeah, I was like we were talking about with Emma Stone and Yoko Lanthimos. Like, what a great actor director pairing. They've been together since Fruitvale Station back in like ages ago, and then they did Black Panther, both of them together.
Creed.
Creed. Yeah, I'm very, very happy for Michael B. Jordan. I think recently, like in the last few months before the Oscars, there was a video that came out, and as well as an interview with Umi Musaku talking about his dimples. I don't know if you saw it, but
I did
she
too.
was talking about how like he differentiated the character, like even through the different shoes he wore, just what he did with his face. And yeah, when after seeing that, I think everyone was like, "Oh shit!" Look at the two of them. They look kind of similar, but you can just tell which one's Smoke and which one's Stack, even though they're both Michael B. Jordan. So I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy for him. It was a really great performances.
Yeah, I think the scene that probably sealed his Oscar win was the post-credit scene with he and Haley with Buddy
Mm,
Guy. I mean, it had to have been because they talk about it being the best, it was the best day of their life. And you can just see the sadness in him. He lost his brother, he got turned, well, his partner also got turned, and she's so sad because you can just feel the love that they had for Annie. And, they just you can just feel their heartbreak and
mm,
love. Not just that scene,
mm,
it's crazy, but a post-credit scene probably got him the Oscar, which is crazy to say, but I mean, I was like, tears are welling in my eyes in the theaters. I'm just thinking about it, and it's making me sad, but it was just such a heartbreaking scene, just so tiny, and you knew how they felt about everybody in that moment in time before everything
mm.
just went to crap. But
Yeah,
yeah, that
Michael
scene,
B. Jordan. I was very happy for him. I mean, he deserves it. He's had a great body of work, and Sinners was, in my opinion, it's his best performance.
yeah, he was really good, and yeah, I no qualms about it at all. Okay, that wraps up Best Actor. Which supporting category do you want to take down?
Let's do Best Supporting Actress because this one was the first award of the night, so we got then potentially the most confusing because it was a three-horse race. Yeah, it was really interesting.
First, I would like to have a moment of silence for our last year's nominee and should have been winner, Ariana Grande, for not being
I
present
agree.
at this award
I
season.
agree.
I mean, she should have won last year. The Academy really fouled up, and it shouldn't have been Zoe Saldana, and it could have been an easy mistake of it. I thought she was going to get back in this year so she could get the Oscar, and sadly, this year was so jam-packed full of great supporting actress performances, she just could not break
Mm,
through. And I mean, it was a great performance in Wicked Part 2. The movie might not have been great, but her performance was fantastic. But, I mean, when you have these 5 ladies too, eh, it's hard to,
It's
like,
yeah,
pick out one. I
it's
mean, it is. Do you wanna start with
yeah,
Amy Madigan, or you wanna end with Amy Madigan? Like, what do you
yeah. Let's start with Amy, but I just want to just mention about Ariana Grande. She's my personal supporting actress pick of the year. Absolutely should have won last year,
I
should have won this year. This and we'll talk about Wicked's let's say lack of nominations when we get to the tech categories. That movie tanked. it's pretty astounding to have seen how it went from 10 nominations to zero. But yeah, Ariana Grande was great. I really loved her.
yeah,
But yes, Amy Madigan, the winner of Best Supporting Actress. Can you just imagine coming out of Weapons back in August and thinking, like, I mean, everyone was campaigning for her to just get a nomination. But imagine here, like, thinking that she was going to win. I
yes.
think that's incredible.
I gotta find my Letterboxd review, hang on. It's gonna be really quick. When did I watch
Mhm.
Weapons? Okay, so I watched Weapons in November, so months before the nominations. Okay, that's what I rated it, 4 stars. No, 4.5 stars. I said, "Everyone is skeptic about Amy Madigan getting nominated for playing Aunt Gladys in this. They clearly haven't seen the 1968 classic Rosemary's Baby because she is channeling Minnie Castevet." And
And
everyone's like, "Oh, Amy Madigan's not gonna be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. It's a horror film." And I'm like, "Guys, you don't." I was like this with Ariana Grande the year before. I'm like, "Guys, you don't understand. This is just it screams Best Supporting Actress." And people don't like, I had this gut feeling. I mean, I like Amy Madigan. I've seen her in the films Uncle Buck and Field of Dreams, like, since I was younger. I've always liked her. She has a unique voice. I just something about her energy I like. And I saw her and I'm like, "You're getting that nomination."
Yeah,
And like, I was telling coworkers that had seen Weapons, and they're like, "Weapons was so good." I'm like, "I think she's gonna get nominated." And they're like, "No, no, no. They wouldn't do that." And I'm like, Yeah, she is."
yeah.
And I
It
predicted
has
her to.
everything that you need. It
Yes.
has everything that you need.
I was telling my coworker today, he said he told me, he said, "Yeah, Sinners won Best Actor," and I'm like, "Yeah," I said, But we had talked about Weapons, like, it comes up every time we work together," and I'm like, "Yeah," I said, I mean, he doesn't know his actors that well, but I was like, "Aunt Gladys from Weapons won," and he was like, "Did she really?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "I told you." Like, I but if you're in a movie for 13 and a half minutes and there are Halloween costumes, you've made it into the lexicon, you just you're terrifying, you're funny, you have a great death scene, like, everything about their performance was so memorable. 13 and a half minutes. This is a 2 hour and 7 minute long movie, maybe longer than that. Over a 2 hour long movie. If you're in it for not even a quarter of it and you're that memorable, they should just hand you the Oscar when the movie's over and be like, "Here you go." You're like,
So good, so good. I loved it. I remember though, I showed my parents the film. And at the end of the film, I was like, okay, so guys, we're watching this because it's getting Oscar buzz. Guess who's the best supporting actress contender from the film? They had no clue. And when I told them it was Amy Madigan's Aunt Gladys, they were like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. And every awards season, well, at least the first that she won, I was like, guys, it's happening. And they're like, no, no way. But
and
outside of it being a horror film, her performance, it has the makeup transformation. It is memorable as hell. The character is iconic outside of the film. Like, there's no reason outside of it being a horror film that she wouldn't, get nominated normally. And I just think it's incredible she won. What a performance. It's
and
incredible.
she's so funny. Like, I was watching scenes from it last night, and I caught myself laughing, and then when she turned like, got scary or, threatening, you could feel like you're like, "Oh, crap. She means business." And like I was talking about, she's channeling Minnie Cassavette, like, in Rosemary's Baby, it won Best Supporting Actress for Ruth Gordon, and for me, like, that was the parallel. I'd seen Rosemary's Baby, like, a few times, and I love that movie, but we're not acknowledging Roman Polanski right now. That's no. Bad dude, but, great film, bad dude. But Ruth Gordon's so good in that she's memorable because she is just like Aunt Gladys, she's this kooky lady, she's kinda funny, and you're like, "Oh, man, I like this chick," and then she's also very evil, but, I mean, with Mandy Cassavette, she was in a cabal of witches, but Aunt Gladys is working alone, and she like you said, she's just so memorable. And I don't think a lot of people know who Amy Madigan is if they're not a Oscars buff. Like, they don't know all the actors that have been nominated over the years and everything like that. If you don't know who Amy Madigan is, I think a lot of people discovered her in this. Like, our age, definitely, but older people knew her from, like, Field of Dreams, or if they didn't know her by name, they knew her face. And I feel like this Oscar one really cemented her, like, shown her that, like, "Hey, you not have you've made it, but, we've seen your work, you put in the work.
Yeah.
We recognize you as the best of the best." And
Yes.
that's a great honor. I mean, she was so surprised when she won. I remember my notes was like, "Oh my gosh, Amy won."
Yeah. It was a great reaction
It
because even
was.
Yeah. Like I I was predicting her, but I think and it was the same with Michael B. Jordan. Like I can predict her and be like, okay, she's most likely getting the Oscar. But then to actually consider the fact that like holy like Aunt Gladys is going to be an Oscar winning performance. How it was great. And I just loved that she was so yeah, her first nomination was 40 years ago. And then she comes back. She's so happy. I loved her SAG speech. I
It's
loved her Oscar speech.
great.
She's just so funny.
And
Yeah.
she's so honest about it. She's like, "Guys, I've just been working, and this was just another job, and you guys thought I did such a good job that I won an Oscar for it." And that's not it's not like, supporting actor and actress are my favorite categories of the Oscars because I feel like they're the richest in performances. I don't know how they
Mhm.
are, but they just are to me. Like the leads, I'm like, yeah, you guys are the lead of the film, but I always gravitate to the supporting actor and actresses. And this year I was really invested in the supporting actor and actresses because they were just so heavy. It was a heavy year full of great performances. But Amy Madigan getting recognized, I'm still I don't know if she's on cloud nine, but I'm still on cloud nine from her winning, and I've watched the speech every day. Just part of me thinks, I'm just in the Truman Show or something. Like this isn't real. Like, and then it's real. She won, and I just every time I watch the speech, I still feel so happy for her. And everyone reacted great when she won because like there wasn't the Angela Bassett, like
Mm.
dead-eyed look when Jamie Lee Curtis wins. Like, no, everyone was, like, leaping for joy when she won because they knew that this was something monumental, and and the
Yeah.
speech was great. I loved her saying she shaved her legs, but she was wearing pants, and it didn't even matter. Boy, she was just so honest, and I'm surprised that she beat her husband, Ed Harris, to the Oscar, and he
Yeah.
has 4 nominations, which is absolutely
Hmm.
baffling, and I'm very happy for the Madigan Harris household, and I
Hmm.
probably will be for years to come. It was well deserved. I have no complaints at all.
I'm very happy that as surprising as it might sound, that a supporting performance won, which was the same in the other supporting category. Like the last few years, Zoe Saldana was the lead of the film. Kieran Culkin was the co-lead. Ki Kwan was the co-lead of his film. All very deserving, but we got a supporting win. Like how good! And if you look at the screen time data for all of these performances, I think the longest one is only about 20, 30 minutes, which is
Yeah, it's
amazing.
just short, and these are all movies that are over 2 hours long, and
Mm,
all the characters are memorable. All of these performances are memorable. I think about these ladies and men in these categories a lot more than I've been thinking about the leads because, like I said, they're the richest performances. I don't know why. Yeah, very happy for Amy Madigan. Always will be. And
yeah.
I cannot find Weapons on DVD to save my life, and it's driving me crazy. I'm about to order it online. I can't take it anymore. Now that I know she won it, I'm adding it to my best supporting actress collection.
Oh, good.
Well, who should we start with next? Woonmi,
Well,
Tiana,
who who do you think was the runner-up between I'm assuming Tayana and Rumi? Who would you say?
I think it was Tiana.
Yeah. Yeah, Teyana Taylor in one bar after another. She was people say it's either the first 20 minutes or the first 40 minutes. I don't know which one it is that she's in, but
She's in
either
the
way,
first 20. She's like
oh,
17
so only
minutes or
first
something.
20.
Yeah,
Oh
it's like
wow.
very short period.
For a 3 hour film, she was my favorite performance in the film. She made such a big impact. She was incredible. I wish she was in more of the film, but again, that's why she's in supporting actress. That's why she is like a great supporting performance, one of the best of the year, because she makes a great mark in the first 20 minutes of the film and then she leaves it, but her character lingers with you. And let me just say, she's very different with her character to who she is in the interviews. So, like, it's completely different. The fierceness, the brutality of the character is definitely not with Tayana. Um, so just on a general like statement. The performance was incredible, and I'm really happy for her. She won the Golden Globe, so she has an award, which is good. But yeah, I think overall, Tana was a great some nomination to come along with one battles package.
Yeah, she was so good in the film, and I mean, she had kind of came on the scene with the 1001 a few years ago, but even then that was kind of, unrelated,
Yeah.
under the radar, but this really made her break out surprisingly, and, she's just so good as this woman who is believes in the cause so much, that she'll do everything in her power, but she's also trapped by the people that she is fighting against, and it's she's a complicated character, and everyone's like, "Oh, oh, it's so bad she left her child," and, it comes up as controversial and whatnot, and I mean, that's her character. Her character is a woman who got trapped by the people that she's fighting against, and she had her child, and it was not with the man that she was in a relationship with that she truly loved. It was with the other guy, Sean Penn, which we'll find out. Sorry, spoiler alert. You should have watched the movie, but um, uh, and then she gets. You can tell she's going through postpartum depression because Bob, like when she sees Bob with Willis, she just cannot handle it. You don't love
Mhm.
me anymore. Like she just completely abandons her child. Turns everybody in. I think post uh partum really got to her, and it caused her to
Yeah.
just make a bunch of horrible decisions. But I mean, her performance is great. Uh,
Mhm.
like if you see her in the interviews, she's this funny, like hype everyone. Like she hyped Amy. Did you see that she gave Amy Madigan a bunch of stuff after she won the
No, I
Oscar?
didn't see. I
Yeah,
saw her reaction, which was pretty cool.
her reaction was great, and everyone's like, "Oh, she should be so mad at Amy Madigan for getting her Oscar," and Tayana was like, cheering them out,
No.
like, "No, she got the Oscar, she deserved it," and, like, that Monday or Tuesday, she gave her, like, shoes from her brand and jacket, like, Amy Madigan was, like had the bling on, and, I was like, "Man, yeah, see, Tayana was the
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis of this year, just, like, supporting the
Oh
women,
yeah.
like, yeah, let's go." But, it was a great performance. I have no complaints. It's just such a stacked category. We should just be like the Globes, open it to 6 and have Ariana Grande in there instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that.
But sadly, no. I guess we'll do Win Me Next since she was like in number
Mhm.
3. She
She I've loved her in the film since it came out, since I saw it in April. I also liked it in Loki. She was great in Loki, as Hunter B-15. I think she's underrated. So when I saw her come back in since, I was like, oh yeah, Wumi Musaku, like, let's go. But her nomination really only came around in the last few months with awards voting, and then she did win the BAFTA, which was a pretty good indicator. But then she did lose SAG, and I really like her performance. I like Rumi across the award circuit. Um, Probably not my personal pick, just because the character isn't as memorable. Like she doesn't have like a scene necessarily. Like she's good as a supporting performance throughout, but she doesn't really stand out. But I was very happy that for Wumi that she got nominated.
Yeah, she's very much. I mean, I think this scene for her, like if we were to give her Oscar nominated scene, it wouldn't be the scene that they showed at the Oscars where she's chewing him out. It would be more the scene where she's just talking about their child dying. I mean, that would
That's yeah,
be
when
her.
she's in the white.
Yeah, that was probably her scene, which it was a great scene, very emotional, worked perfectly. But I mean, she was also very great at like, eat this garlic, we're gonna make steaks, holy, like she was very much like this is what we're gonna do. And she's also like and Clash, she's a witch. I mean, we've got 2 witches nominated in the same year. If we had Ariana Grande, that'd be 3. Well,
Three.
that would be crazy. But like I like her as a character who knew the rules. Like she was very much the horror movie character, like, "This is the rules, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna
Yes, yes.
she was all-knowing because all the other characters did not know what was going on, and she knew we're like, "We're dealing with vampires. These aren't humans, they're demons, let's just deal with them." And I really liked her, and I just like her giving Delroy Lindo garlic and him not liking it. They're just like, "We're about
Yes.
to kill you," and he's just like, "Oh, no, it's just not agreeing with my stomach," but it yeah, she was great as just this character. She was the wise horror movie character that just keeps
Yeah.
everybody on their toes, and she did it very well. I mean, it got her Oscar nomination.
Mm.
Good for her.
But she also had the side of spirituality and hoodoo, voodoo, whatever she was doing with the witch stuff.
Yeah,
That sort of mysticism side to her, like with
like,
her voiceover in the intro. I liked her character.
yeah, hers yeah, she was very much like, "We're let's keep to the old values, let's not let this new stuff infiltrate us," and, man,
Mm.
and then her death was sad. I didn't want her to die.
Yeah, it was sad.
Okay.
And the blood was when Smoke put the stake in her, the blood was like spewing out. I was like, oh god, it
Yeah,
was a
it was
lot.
it was a little rough, but, I mean, she got reunited with her ex-husband and her baby at the end, so, I mean,
Yeah, that's nice.
that is nice. Okay, do you wanna talk about Inga or Elle first?
Let's talk. Let's talk about Inga because I think she was more involved than Elle Fanning was this season. Yeah, Inga Ipsola Lilius. What a very cool name, I have to say. I couldn't pronounce it at first, but I've learned. Um, and yeah, I think Inga very similar to Renata Reinsva, just has everything in the eyes and in the face. I don't believe this is her debut performance, maybe in um the mainstream side, but I've never heard of her before, so this was a great introduction to her, and I was very happy that she was nominated alongside the other four women and alongside Sentimental Values Package. Yeah, I think she was probably a little bit underrated, um, just because of how nuanced she was and how naturalistic she was, with her facial expressions and her, again, the eyes, man, the eyes, everything's in there. Yeah, the scene where they're hugging, her and Renata, and they're reading the script. That was my favorite scene of the film. I just loved that scene and how the performances led the narrative in that scene. I just really loved that. So I thought Inga was pretty good.
Yeah, she was really good. I really liked it when Gustav gives her child all those DVDs, and she just has this look like, "Oh my gosh," like
Yeah,
like, we will be taking those away whenever he leaves. But she was great, and, I mean, as a sister who's caught in the middle of these 2 of her family members, like, having to be that point of communication sometimes, but also watching the 2 take shots at each other. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in as, like, a family member. You're just like, "Oh, crap."
yeah.
Just
But I
having
have to say, I did like her selfie with Elle Fanning.
that
I
was
hope Elle Fanning puts that out.
that was so funny. It was like, "Do you wanna take a selfie?" And she's just kinda like
Like,
it was like she just didn't know what to do. It was a great scene. I mean, that was kinda funny, but yeah, like I said, she's this person caught in the middle and, having to talk to both sides, either communicating or just trying to convince the other to do certain things, and she had the toughest role in the movie to be that point of
yeah,
communication, and she did not have a
yeah,
yelling scene, it was nothing, it was just so nuanced, just like Renata, like you said, with the eyes, with the body language, and she did great. Nothing was exaggerated, it was perfect. I mean, I would've been happy if any of these 5 ladies won. Uh,
yeah, yeah. I would definitely have been happy with any of them. People were saying that, like, again, with the theories, it's always like the last minute Oscar predicting that goes absolutely wild, where people were saying that Inga could win. And I was like, that's nice to hope for that. And I would think she's very worthy of winning. Um, but She didn't,
No,
unfortunately.
but I mean, one day she might be back.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder.
I don't know. And then finally, Elle
Mm.
Fanning in sentimental value. I liked her in this. She was different than the Elle Fanning that I'm normally accustomed to. You know, this like almost manic pixie dream girl. You know that every
Yeah.
guy falls in love with. But she was very like everyone else, nuanced. Everything was in the eyes, and you could tell that her character, like you could see her throughout the film, knowing that she's not the person to be in this film. You can
No.
tell, like you even know the scene where she makes the decision of I can't do this. You're like, oh, she's gonna pull out. She's gonna pull out
Mm.
because she's so subtle with it, and she wasn't in it very long. It was just a short period of time, but she was fantastic. She played off Stellan very well. She played off Inga very well. Even
Yeah.
that
They were
scene with
good.
her and Renata asking why can't you work with him? And it was really good.
I loved Elle Fanning in this. I was very happy that she got the nomination, which was surprisingly a surprise because she did miss out on BAFTA and SAG, and I was like, "There's no way that Elle Fanning's not coming along," and they nominated her. I think she was the first one they read out, and I was really happy about it that she came along with the package. Yeah, Elle Fanning, I think she's a pretty underrated actress. I think with the right material, like in this and like in a Complete Unknown, she really can thrive, and she did in this film. I think she should definitely continue with these small, nuanced roles. And I liked her character too. I don't remember what her character name was. Do
Rachel
you remember?
Kemp.
Yeah, that's
Rachel
right, Rachel
Kemp.
Kemp.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, her just bringing in the storyline of the IKEA chair and Netflix and the social commentary that she brought in about the film industry. I really liked her.
Yeah.
I like her Fanning.
I still think about that scene on the beach, though. Oh, beautifully filmed.
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
scene and the one where she and Renata are in those chairs, and it looks like conclave, kind of because of the red chairs. Yeah, those two scenes were really beautifully shot.
Yeah. Okay. That was our supporting actress, Amy. We are so happy you got the Oscar, and
Very much so.
I'm just so happy to be like, oh, that's an Oscar winner right there. It just makes me so happy. I don't know why I'm so elated about it, but I am.
Mm.
Hey, actor in a supporting role. Who do you want to start out with?
Should we? I'm trying to remember. Can we talk about Benicio del Toro
Yeah, let's do
because
a few small
he
bits.
was a fun performance. Yeah, just a few small bits. Oh, let me just tell you, they were on point with their acting clips. I was really happy they picked that for him. They were good. They knew what they were doing with their acting clips. So I
They
was
did.
happy to see those.
They were good.
Um, so he was good. Yeah, like I liked him in the film. I did not see the nomination.
I didn't either.
Um,
Everyone was
yeah,
like, Benicio's gonna get his third. I'm like, but why? But why?
yeah.
I don't like. Where's the why?
He's good as Sensei, and I do I love his dynamic with Leo. Like Benicio does have all the iconic lines, like just a few small beers, like no fear, like Tom effing Cruise. But it's just the role didn't do anything for me. When he was sweeping critics' prizes and people were like, "Oh, he's going to win the Oscar," I was like, "Surely not. Like,
Yeah,
surely this can't happen."
it was. Yeah, I don't really get this nomination. Everyone's like, yeah, Benicio, and I'm like, there's there needs to be a little extra something, and I don't know what it is. Sometimes you
Mm.
can't nail it on an acting performance of what they're missing, but something was missing, and I'm just like, it's not it. I mean, he already has one for Traffic. Everyone still remembers him in that. That should be enough.
Yeah,
We could nominate someone else. Definitely, maybe Jonathan Bailey in Wicked for Good. I don't know. Possibly. I mean, he was good in that. Who knows?
yeah. But the supporting actor category was really, I think, aside from Paul Mescal for Hamnet, like it was pretty dry. I mean, like Adam Sandler died pretty quickly for Jay Kelly.
He did. I was like, man, they're bringing Sandler back again, and it didn't work.
Yeah, but it was pretty contained category. Like those six, yeah, those six were kind of locked in for every ceremony, and then you had to get rid of one for the Oscars.
And sadly, Paul was the guy they kicked to the side, and
Yeah,
he didn't make it.
no, shame.
Okay. So, oh, jeez.
But our winner in the other one battle supporting role, Sean Penn, who did not show up to receive his third Oscar. I was That was a big point of the night where I was very curious if he was gonna show up or not, and he didn't. So Kieran Culkin accepted a second Oscar, and Sean Penn was with I don't even know where he was,
He was in the
but
Ukraine.
oh, was he? Oh, yeah, I know he donated his second Oscar to Zelensky, so
Yep, he was
we could.
talking to Zelensky, and then there
There we go.
Zelensky gave him like an a fake Oscar made of metal out of a train that was attacked by like the Russians or something like that. So he basically didn't go get the real Oscar. He went to Ukraine to get a fake one. But he's doing his humanitarian cause, and you can't frown upon that because he's
Mhm.
being a good American citizen. But still, it's like, man, and I just loved Kieran walking by. Did you see Kieran walking by the camera at
Yeah,
the end, and he just flashed? He was just like, showing the camera that it was Sean Penn and that it didn't.
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
But I
Kieran
think,
handled it very well.
yeah, Kieran, yeah, I think Kieran possibly expected it. I think we all did after he didn't show up at SAG or BAFTA. But I think one thing that's really good about both him just not caring at all, like not campaigning, is we still gave the Oscar to what, in my opinion, was the best supporting performance. And so, like, faith is restored in the Academy. Like, I think you say that it's interesting that Timmy didn't get the Oscar because he campaigned too hard, but Sean Penn did because he didn't campaign at all. And so, I'm very happy for that Sean Penn got a third Oscar. Um, yeah, he was as Lockjaw. He just he was so funny. Just the different facial expression. I think there's an edit you can look it up on YouTube or wherever of just like his mouth sounds or just like the weird things he does, like
Yeah,
yeah, like that, or combing his hair, or just
yeah, like
like the
with
weird.
wetting his comb with his mouth, and just like I remember
Yeah,
watching that and being like, oh god, just that's it's kind of repulsive. And like you were saying, I don't, and people are like, oh yeah, he won because he didn't campaign at all, and he's just so aloof about it. No, it's like I was saying, I'm going to be redundant. It's they're the richest categories we have at the Oscars are the supporting actors and the supporting actresses because they are the most memorable characters. They are the backbone of every movie that they are in. Whether they're the foil to the hero, whether they support the hero, whether they're just like the neighbor down the street. For some reason, those performances just stay with us a lot longer than the leads. Like
mhm,
it, I don't know why it is, but they just do. And
mhm,
I mean, I could write a book about it. I mean, I'd love to,
mhm.
but it's just, I mean, when you think of it, like the usual suspects, Kevin Spacey, one abhorrent human being, but character, Kaiser Soze, extremely memorable. Like,
Yeah,
and you could talk about all the other actors in the movie, and you're like, I don't really remember them, but you remember that one performance. Like even Little Miss Sunshine, you think of Alan Arkin and Abigail Breslin, and they both got nominated because their performances were the richest. And it's just for some reason those characters just really. And Sean Penn
mhm.
was one of those rich characters. He was just had all those quirks, and he was just, and he was so obsessed with Perfidia Beverly Hills. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
had to have her, and like I just left him going up to Bob and being like, "You like black girl?" That's just so funny
I love
to
him.
be in the middle of the
Yeah,
story. And I'm just like, "Oh geez," and his character is so relentless at catching Bob Ferguson. He's like the evil Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive. He's like trying to hunt down
yeah,
um, Leo, and I mean, he gets shot in the face, and he still
yeah.
gets out of his jeep and still is going after Bob. And I'm just
Still
like,
goes.
he's just relentless until He finally gets exterminated by the
Yep.
Christmas adventurers, but with his own special office, and I thought that was so fitting for him. It was so funny. Just seeing
I
his
really liked him.
and he was
Yeah,
so
it's just like
happy. He was so happy when he died.
yeah, with his legs on the table, it just wheeled out. I loved Conan's ending, how
That
he
was
ended the Oscars with that.
so funny. Okay, so
That was great.
you may not know this, but the guy who, was with Coney, "Oh, we're gonna give you your
Mm,
office," that's Jim Downey. He is a he was one of the writers on Saturday Night Live at its, like, inception, and he wrote for a long time, and he and Paul Thomas Anderson wanted him to be in There Will Be Blood, and he's one of the guys, or he is the guy that is showing the land to Daniel Plainview in the film, just trying to sell him like this is your land and whatnot. And
mm,
Paul Thomas Anderson was a big fan, and ever since then he's been in a couple of his projects. And I knew who he was because heard of him on Pecun's podcast. And when he showed up in the movie, I was like, I almost wanted to be like Jim Downey, but like no one would understand but me. I was so excited. And yeah, this Sean Penn was so good and so
he was good.
memorable.
Mm, absolutely. Him and Teyana Taylor just made the film for me. Leo's great. Like, what a great ensemble of actors. But yeah, Leo is great, of course. But yeah, Sean Penn and Teyana Taylor really make the film for me. Very great.
Same for me. Okay, do you want to talk about Delroy? Do you want to talk about Stellan or Jacob?
Let's talk about Delroy Lindo for Sinners. What a random nomination. Like,
Yes.
very deserved, but
And
very random.
I'm going to make people mad. He should not have won the Oscar. He should not have won.
Yeah, it
E- e-
was.
Everyone was like, "That was Delroy's to win." It was not Delroy's to win, and he did not deserve to win. Maybe it was the Academy
Mm,
feeling bad because they did not nominate him for The Five Bloods. It could be
I think
that.
that's a part of it.
His performance was great, though he was memorable as Delta Slim, but it was not the quintessential best supporting actor. I mean, if you think about past supporting actor, like behind my computer, I have a stack of best supporting actor DVDs because I'm going to be doing posts about that stuff soon. But like, I'm looking at the stack. I mean, it's Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, Heath Ledger, The Dark
Heath
Knight,
Ledger.
Christoph Waltz for Inglourious
Mm,
Bastards, Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Tommy Lee
mm,
Jones for The Fugitive, Martin Landau for like these are iconic performances. I don't think you could look back in the years of supporting actors and be like,
mm.
yeah, Delroy Lindo for Sinners. And that this is no. That's a no.
Yeah, I had the same thing for his performance as I did for Bumi Musaku in Sinners. If they combined characters, then I'd be more excited. Or if they combined into one performance, somehow I'd be more excited. But yeah, individually, I just didn't feel it for Delroy Lindo. I was really happy for him, and I was rooting for him just because I was rooting for Sinners overall. In terms of best performance, like I wanted Sean Penn to win, but I was rooting for Delroy just to like get a sense that maybe Sinners was winning Best Picture. But yeah, I think Delroy, he did a good job campaigning. Like we saw, he was making the speech every single time the cast won something at SAG. He spoke. Even the BAFTA thing, which is stupid that this might have played a factor, but it could have played a factor, the incident at BAFTA. But yeah, I think it could have been also a makeup for The Five Bloods. But it was a wacko nomination that didn't get anything all season, and then the Oscars just had to, it happened for him.
Yeah. I mean, Jacob and Stellan turned in better performances than
Yeah,
Delroy.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Let's not linger on that one any longer. Okay, Jacob or Stellan, let's
We can do another guy that probably wasn't nominated a whole lot. Stellan Skarsgård wasn't nominated at SAG, and but obviously he's still going to be nominated. But I thought, okay, maybe he can win just out of passion because he could have won BAFTA, could have won SAG. But yeah, Stellan Skarsgård. Like, what can you say that we haven't said about the sentimental value cast? who, how cool that they're all four of them are nominated. That's pretty awesome. Um, yeah, just loved his performance. I thought he was great. He's still in Skarsgård. I know him from the Thor movies. I've
I
seen
do
him in a
too.
couple of
Yeah.
other projects, but I know him from Thor, yeah. So to see him in a more prestigious role, was really cool to see, and I was very happy for him. And I think he's Norwegian. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, I
see
think so. Yeah.
yeah, so for him to do it in his native language as well it must have been pretty cool for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in American films since the 90s. Yeah, and I mean, he was in the film Good Will Hunting, where he's kind of Robin Williams's adversary, like they're both fighting over Matt Damon's character in the film. But that's where I like really first seen him was in that and the Thor movies. But seeing him in this, the range is just impeccable. Just you can't like the two. They're just he's great. Um, just like I called his character emotionally constipated. Like that's who the
Yeah,
guy is. He cannot relate to
yeah,
his children because he is so inside himself. And I mean, they could have made him out to be this absolutely abhorrent father, this terrible human being, but Joachim Trier writes him in a way that we still empathize with him, that we still feel for him, that we understand why he cannot communicate. And Stellan also conveys that in his performance, which I think that's why he's there. And he probably should have been nominated like 3 or more times by now, but I'm glad he's finally Academy Award nominee, Stellan Skarsgård.
it's very nice. Yeah, that's right. His first nomination.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, it's nice. And then Jacob Elordi, who sat in the makeup chair for 11 hours at a time, looks unrecognizable in the role. And yeah, I think his performance again is underrated. I remember when the Oscar clip came up. I don't remember what the context was, but I was just like, that is not Jacob Elordi. He's doing so much to his face and to his like body, obviously, and to his voice. I really love Jacob Elordi. Very different from his previous Netflix entries in the kissing booth, for sure.
Yeah, very
Um,
different,
but
very different.
very different. But yeah, I was happy that Jacob Elordi got recognition. He's coming up really as a really big star, both critically and obviously in the mainstream um audience viewpoint. And I'm just happy for him for the nomination. I think it was a great performance, and yeah, another performance nomination for horror film this year. I love to see it.
And I mean, I I watched Frankenstein, of course, before all the nominations came out, and I think I even wrote my Letterboxd review. I'm like, the Jacob Elordi Oscar campaign is starting right now, like for best supporting actor. How I don't know how I know, but sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, yeah, they're get like even when I watched Nora the year before last, when Yura Borisov took out his scar to give to Mikey Madison on the pier, I was like, best supporting actor. I don't know how I knew. And he was like, and that is like butts for that. They're just, I don't know. I get this feeling. And I had a feeling about Jacob Elordi. I'm like, it's not because he was in the makeup chair. It's not because he looks different than he is. It's because he is playing something that is typically known as super scary and frightening for nearly a century or more. And he turns that into this super empathetic creature that you feel for, and it j he made Frankenstein into a actual being and not a monster, and
Mm,
that was the entire intent of the film and his performance, but it makes you look at Frankenstein differently now, it makes you look at him differently. I mean, even with Euphoria, he's a completely different actor in that than he is in this. I mean, he's a piece of crap in Euphoria. He's a horrible human being, but uh, in this, he's very good, and you can tell that he just wants to be loved by his creator, and his creator hates him. Why, I have no idea. Oscar Isaac, thank God he was not Oscar nominated because
Yeah.
I don't know. His performance was so terrible, but Jacob Elordi somehow saved the movie with his performance, and
Yeah.
well
My
deserved.
favorite part.
Yeah,
Mm.
my favorite part too. I can't come on. And they said it's coming out on Criterion, and I will buy it just for his performance alone.
That's true. That's true. And I think also he replaced Andrew Garfield in the role because Andrew Garfield dropped out to do After the Hunt. A bad choice. Just a bad decision
Yeah,
all around
Andrew
for the both of them.
Garfield probably fired his agent after the hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. So for Jacob Elordi to get the nomination off of a role he wasn't supposed to have, it's like it's fate. It's great.
It is, and he's really proven himself to be such a great actor. Like you said, really breaking out of the kissing booth. And I mean, so many actors that have gotten trapped in that teenager, like, cheesy shows and,
Yeah.
like, movies, they've really broken out, like Jacob Elordi, Zendaya, Zac Efron, like, they were really trapped in it for a while, but when they broke out, and they've really proven themselves to be great performers, and I'm happy for Jacob Elordi. He's great in all of his press runs, and he just seems very happy to be there, and I'm
Mm.
happy he was.
Yeah. I love
Uh,
the Australian representation, of course, between him and Rose Byrne. It's good. I like it.
yeah, they were fantastic. Okay, let's see here. We've got cinematography, costume design, directing, editing, international film, adapted screenplay, original screenplay, VFX, sound, production design, song, score, makeup, the shorts.
Let's Can we talk about my favorite win of the night, which was cinematography.
Yes.
My favorite win. I know it was for a lot of people. Autumn Gerald R. Kapoor won for Sinners. She's the first female to win that award. Pretty incredible achievement. Um, that was a big surprise. That was not supposed to happen. Like stats wise, I'm really happy it won, but stats wise, one battle after another had, the AFC and the BSC and the BAFTA and all the awards, sorry, that it needed, but Sinners won, and I'm so happy that Sinners won because, I was very, very privileged enough to see it in IMAX for the first time, and when those shots come on, where it just fills up the whole IMAX screen, and I think that when it comes out on digital, Sinners, like it has the IMAX format. The scene where they're getting ready to fight, and it's like the Avengers lineup of all seven of them. When the screen, like, it gets bigger, and I remember seeing that in IMAX, and I was like, dude, that's incredible, dude. That's like so cool. And yeah, just the images, the lighting, that the naturalistic feel of the world. I'm so happy that it won. One battle has good cinematography. Obviously, the car scene is unparalleled, the chase scene, but so is the one where I Lied to You comes and all the cultures come in. I mean, I just loved everything that happened with the camera, with the movement, with the composition, with the lighting. So beautiful. I'm so happy for Autumn that she won.
I know, and it's an absolute shame it took 98 years for a woman to win, but,
Mm.
I mean, hopefully that'll change, and just like Catherine Bigelow winning. I mean, the Academy is very stuffy sometimes, I don't know why it takes them so long, but Sinners looked fantastic, it's so beautiful. I mean, you basically said it all, it's such a lovely film. I'm so happy for
Mm.
her, and I wish many great things for her in the future.
Mm.
One battle after another, though, everyone was predicting it to win. I'm like, no, I don't think it will win. And like, I knew in my heart it had to have been Sinners. It had to have been. There was like that's what I predicted. I had a gut feeling that that's what they were going to go with because it it looked better than one battle after another. Like there were shots that
Mm.
you could just frame and put it on the wall and be like,
But
wow, that's great. I mean, with one
yeah,
battle, there weren't really shots that you could just be like, look at this shot. And like
Yeah.
it's with a cinematography winner, you want something to be like, look at this shot. And Train Dreams came pretty close. That was probably
Yeah,
the
Train
only
Dreams
thing I
was
really liked about Train Dreams was the cinematography, but it was
that was
second.
my favorite film of the year, I have to say. Train Dreams is my favorite, and I really wanted it to in cinematography. Just off the work alone. I just lo love the look of the film. It made me, as soon as I watched it on Netflix for the first time, which Netflix, like, come on, man, like up the theatrical game. It was Frankenstein in
I
theaters when you
know,
need it.
physical media too. Come on, like
Yeah. But yeah, right after Train Dreams, I immediately knew I had to see it in cinemas, and I went, and it was so beautiful. It was so good. Yeah, Train Dreams was beautifully shot, but
yep.
Sinners was great. Sinners was an amazing winner.
Marty Supreme was great too. It had good cinematography.
Yeah.
It was very frantic, and I mean the ping pong scenes were so incredible to watch. They were incredibly shot, I have to say, and the look of the film. The Marty Supreme almost had this like grainy look to it,
Yes.
almost.
Yes.
That it just added an extra layer to it that I quite enjoyed. And Frankenstein, eh, I mean,
Yeah. I
it,
no.
yeah, it wasn't
I
the
didn't like the
greatest,
cinematography.
but
I don't know why it was nominated. I think for a few reasons I didn't like it. Like it just looked very glossy, too glossy, and I think it had that Netflix look. And then I think it has nice images just from an aesthetic point of view, but it's not doing anything like it's not storytelling like with the visuals. It just
yeah,
looks nice, which I guess, for example, something like Wuthering Heights, it's great that it looks nice, but the cinematography is not really doing much for me, whereas I think the other nominations are. So
yeah,
Frankenstein's like,
yeah,
meh.
indifferent. But Sinners, congratulations, Autumn, on your Oscar. Hope more come to you and more
Yes.
women in the Academy. Uh, do you want to talk about directing? I mean, it's
Yeah, let's do directing. PTA, of course. I think we're seeing the pattern here of the last few years where the thing of the film, the biggest point of intrigue are not the stars anymore, it's the director. We saw Christopher Nolan get his due with Oppenheimer, winning picture and director. We saw Sean Baker get his due with Anora, winning picture, director, editing, and screenplay. And then we saw PTA get it this year with picture, director, and screenplay. So I think that's a recent trend, and I think that's why you just kind of had to predict PTA. And of course, it was a very well-deserved win. Just the scope of the film. I think he's been working on it even since before Chase Infinity was born, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I was happy that PTA won. My personal pick was a little different, but
yeah,
PTA fans will be
yeah,
happy.
my personal pick was PTA as well. I mean, like, I recently wrote an article for the website I write for, and I'm like, Paul Thomas Anderson, he has is his 10th feature film, and all the films before that, each one has, I mean, Inherent Vice, take it or leave it. I mean, it's not the best, but like, There Will Be Blood, Punch Drunk Love, Boogie Nights, Phantom Thread, like, The Master. These are fantastic movies. Each one has something to say, and they're beautifully shot, and incredibly acted, and well directed, and well edited, and strong screenplays. Like everything he puts into his films is just the hard work just comes through, and it's so rewarding. But he has not got any of the prizes for his hard work, and I believe the Academy are like, it's time, like you said with Sean Baker and Christopher Nolan, which is sad because if they get in this mindset, they're gonna award someone for not their best film. Luckily, the past 3 people they've awarded have had really great films, but if they keep this trend up, they're gonna award somebody for a really crappy film, and then that whole narrative is just gonna be blown to bits, and no one will be able to
Yeah.
campaign off of that after one bad person wins for a movie
Mm.
that's not the best.
Because I think even if one battle wasn't as great as it was, I think they still would have given it the adapted screenplay win, which would have been PTA's first Oscar. So we'll see this year what happens, or even next year, the years after. But yeah, so far you're right. The trend has kept up with their best film, which is like obviously amazing. You want the director to win for their best film.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very rare, but let's hope this trend brings good things and not bad things.
my
And
personal pick though was Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Um, Obviously it wasn't winning, but I just thought just the sheer amount of just how he brought his personal storytelling to the film, how he literally directed every single department of his film to an Oscar nomination. He directed 16 different departments to an Oscar nomination, which I think is pretty astounding. Any other year, I reckon he would have won. Yeah, Ryan Coogler was my pick. I think he was great. I love his work in Fruitvale Station and Black Panther series. And Sinners was uh, again behemoth of a task.
yeah, he did a very good job. I just like I wrote in my article, I don't think the Academy was ready to give it to him yet.
Mm,
I
no.
think that they probably looked back at PTA's library of work and were just like, man, what did we do? Like, why? Like, the man made Boogie Nights, and there were
Mm,
people at like, yes, Ryan Coogler has films that are that high, but I don't think he has the library and has put in as long of
mm,
oh my gosh, I'm just muddling my words up right now. I don't think he's put in the work like PTA has. Like PTA has like 30 plus years of work
yeah.
he's put into this and he's finally getting awarded for it. Ryan Coogler's probably been in it for half that time, if that.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Academy was ready to award him. Like the Daniels, though, that's a different situation. They weren't in it as long and they got their Oscar, but that was a different year. That was a different set of nominees. You know, it
Mm,
probably wasn't going to go to Spielberg because he has two already, but um, different situation. But this year, I think it was PTA's to win and Ryan's to lose, and that's just how it was.
yeah.
How the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
And then we have Josh
Um,
Safdie, who didn't stand a chance.
no, no, but at least you got a awards run on like Benny Safdie. I
Poor,
mean, Benny Safdie got the Volpe Cup at Venice. Sorry, Venice. I don't know if it was for best film or best director, but either way, he got the prize. But yeah, Josh Safdie got the overall better film.
yeah. And then Joachim, he didn't win, but he got foreign language film or international
Yeah,
feature. So we're not sad
that's
for
good.
him. And then Chloe, she already has two Oscars.
Yes,
So we're fine. We're fine.
she's fine.
She's fine. Um, yeah.
I would have liked to see nomination for Jafar Panahi, for It Was Just an Accident. I don't know who he would have taken out.
Probably
If
Chloe
it would have
Zhao, if I had
been,
to guess.
yeah, maybe Chloe Sharp, but it could have been Josh Safdie or Joachim Trier. I don't know who would take out, but yeah, Jafar Panahi, I would have loved him. And just that film overall to have a better presence in all season. But yeah, all those other five directors. At least we didn't get like a James Mangold for a complete unknown
That
this
was
year.
that was so weird. That threw me off
That was
last
so
year.
weird. Yeah.
That was so wild. That
Mm,
threw me off so bad. I didn't. That was completely out of left field.
yeah.
And every now and then I'll think about it and still be like, "What was that?"
Mm.
I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll do original screenplay.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
this and it, of course, this and adapted with the obvious ones going to the night, going to the two Best Picture frontrunners. Yes, Sinners gave Ryan Coogler his first, sorry, screenplay got Ryan Coogler his first Oscar, and very, very deserving screenplay, very original. I think that's what the marketing team was really championing the whole time, how original it was, the world building. I did like it. I like what it was saying about music, about the blues, about the Black American experience and community. I liked it. It was well written. Probably not my personal pick in terms of nitpicking on like dialogue or themes. I like it more for its the broader originality. But it's definitely a worthy winner for sure.
Not only that, but it was scary and funny and thrilling and dramatic. It had all the different genres playing in it as well, which helped. Yeah,
It
it
was
was
I at at my work I work at a movie theater and everyone's like, and the movie came out like, what's the Sinners movie? And I'm like, guys, it's a Western period horror musical. And it's just like it has everything. And people seemed excited about that.
yeah, it was. I remember seeing the trailer and I'm like, I will be seeing this. And
Hmm.
I saw it with my best friend and he was just like, we got done and we were like, oh my gosh, that was so great. And um, yeah, he really took the horror movie and somehow added to it. And
Mm.
like what would be a normal vampire story and somehow made a prestigious prestigious film out of it, which is quite the feat because that's a hard thing to do, especially for the genre
Mm.
film like horror. Like horror's had a big year at this year's Academy Awards, and It's impressive. Everyone's like, oh, maybe it's because of Tony Collette and Hereditary. Maybe Hereditary was too rough for the Academy. You know, I don't think people
Yeah.
think of that. Um, I love Toni Collette. She deserves all the Oscars. I mean, Australia, you guys were blessed to have her. I'm just saying. But yeah, but even saying that, the substance is kind of a rough watch because it's so disgusting. Um,
Yeah.
but maybe with the international body coming in, they may vote for horror more because horror is big in all countries, and the Europeans and the um, Europe and Asia, they tend to embrace it more than we seem like we see it as more like popcorn fodder. Like we're gonna watch it, like we're gonna have fun, but
Mm.
they really embrace it as like true art. And maybe
Yeah.
with the increasing academy, they're really gonna embrace horror more. But
I
only
definitely
time
think so.
only time will tell. But this year's looking pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Okay. What else was nominated? It was just an accident. I have not seen that film yet. I need to.
Yeah. Really good film. Really, the screenplay was the best part of it. It plays really well for a crowd. It's surprisingly a comedy. Like when you hear it's about the Iranian regime and all of that, it's actually a comedy. It's pretty funny, and there are some great, excellently written monologues in there. So I highly recommend it to everyone.
I'll have to check it out. I know it's announced on Criterion for June, I believe, and the cover
Okay,
looks
nice.
enticing, so I may have to see that. And I was following it through Cannes last year, like when it came out and won the Grand Prix, and I was
Yeah,
on the Palme d'Or, and I was just following it, and just didn't get around to seeing it, but I'm glad it's nominated, and I will be seeing it soon. So it's a good thing. And then Blue Moon got nominated, written by a retired teacher.
oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
wow.
which is
It's his
right.
first screenplay, I believe.
I think it might be his first. That's just great. Could you imagine just retiring
Yeah.
and then being like, "Yeah, I was nominated for an Oscar." Just like, who gets to say that? And Marty
And then,
Spr Oh,
yes,
continue.
Marty Supreme, of course. No,
Okay.
yeah, and then, yeah, Marty Supreme, of course. Marty Supreme was good. Like, it just sometimes an original screenplay, I think you can get some really, really cool nominations. I think Marty Supreme it was well written, but the screenplay probably wasn't my favorite part. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say about the Marty Supreme screenplay. I mean, it's another nomination for Josh Safdie, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, I liked how the edit ending was written, and how the character was constructed. But the rest of it just felt very improvisational and very manic and chaotic. So I don't know how much was screenplay versus improv on the day.
yeah. I mean, original screenplay is just so hard. Like, they'll go for like Green Book or something one year, and sometimes they'll go for, like, these weird
The substance.
choices, and well, The Substance is, like, a cool choice. Like, I
Oh, yeah.
consider that a cool choice, but, and sometimes they'll just snub films like Groundhog Day, and I'll just never understand it because that script is so tight and so well crafted, and it'll just blow my mind. And then they'll have cool picks like Sex Lies and Videotape, or I'm trying to think of other cool nominate. There's cool
May December.
nominations. But yeah, that's a good one. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
the DVD of that somewhere around here.
Oh, no way. I love May December. May
That
December was actually the reason that I predicted Blue Moon for the Oscar.
really, really.
Yeah, because it was Sammy Burgess's first screenplay. Because Blue Moon was kind of in there, and I knew that Sony Pictures Classic, they always get a couple nominations, and I was like, if Sammy Burgess can do it for her first feature, then this guy can do it for his first feature. And then I predicted it, and I got it right.
Yeah, and the Blue Moon's like you said, like one big monologue. Like I don't know how they were able to do that, and
Mm,
it just works. It, it almost feels like a stage play, but yet it's cinematic at the same time. So that's very good within itself. And then
mm,
finally, the last nominee in this category, Sentimental Value. We yapped about that film quite a bit.
yeah.
Uh, it's just
So,
really good.
um, yeah, just the writing and the acting. It's a very ridey film. Everything's in the right, but it's also in the acting. Like it's just all around, all around.
Solid work.
So then, adapted screenplay, where one battle won, of course. Just another thing to add about
Another
to
feather in
its
the cap.
package. Yeah, it was great. I loved hearing like when they announced Paul Thomas Anderson, he's 14 nominations in and one win. I mean, three wins now, but 14 nominations.
He was
Bradley Cooper's getting there.
like, let me think of his writing nominations. I believe were for Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, Inherent Vice, The Master, Phantom Thread, and One Battle After Another. And then he's probably producing One Battle, Phantom Thread. Like I can't think of all the
New
other
Blood.
ones. Like
Yeah,
maybe. Hang on, I have it right here. Let's see. No. Yes. There Will Be Blood. Yes. And
yeah. I wonder
oh,
how
he
many
also got
directing
one for
nominations he has.
Magnolia too. Writing and then directing would have been There Will Be Blood.
One battle.
One Battle, Phantom Thread. Yes. I
Yeah.
don't think he got nominated for the Master. Like he was well
Yeah.
overdue.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And he's such a great screenwriter too. Like after watching his entire filmography, I've realized that the men that lead his films, I call them idiots. Like I believe they're not the brightest men because I started with Hard Eight and John C. Riley's character in that he's the protagonist and he's not the brightest guy in the world. He makes a lot of bad decisions, and then you move on to Boogie Nights, and then you have Dirk Diggler, and he makes a ton of bad decisions, and then
Mm,
Magnolia is
yeah.
more of an ensemble, so you don't really have that unless you want to count Tom Cruise. He's an absolute idiot in that, and then Punch Drunk Love, and then There Will Be Blood. Yes, Daniel Plainview is a despicable human being, but he's also an idiot. He's a terrible father. He's just does not make a bunch of smart choices, and it just goes on and on, even up to One Battle. Like Leo's character is
Yeah.
almost a bumbling idiot because he's so fried, like I said, on pot. He just does
Yeah.
not know what he's
Absolutely.
doing, and it just it, he's a great screenwriter. I love his work, and I'm very happy he has 3 Oscars, and I hope he can sleep well at night now. Now that he has 3 Oscars, and he doesn't
Yeah.
have
He
to
should
get
be happy
like
now.
yeah,
Should be happy.
he could just retire and be happy. And then
And
the
then,
uh, what were we gonna say?
no, I think next is I'm doing alphabetical order, Begonia.
Yep, that would
Begonia,
be
yeah. Well, Tracy, yeah, as I said before, he wrote The Menu and he wrote Begonia, both with wild endings. But yeah, I think the screenplay was the strongest part of the film. The screenplays were the strongest part of a lot of Best Picture films. So I'm really happy that they got recognition. I think all except for maybe F1 got a best original slash adapted screenplay nomination.
Um,
I think the only
F1 and The Secret Agent. Those were the
oh,
only
of
two
course.
that went without. I mean, if we're talking about The Secret Agent, structurally, the screenplay is not that great because it's slow.
Very
It's
slow.
so slow.
Yeah. But Begonia was a great nomination. I was very happy. Very, very happy.
I was
And
too. It was
then
great. And then Frankenstein would be next, and
I forgot about that. No.
it's just
Why?
your run of the mill adaptation of Frankenstein. Nothing new, added, or taken away. I don't think there's much to
Why
say
did
about
it get
that.
a nomination? I know why, because it's the best picture nominee, because they adapted Frankenstein, but Academy, why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Let's get it's annoying.
Yeah. And then we have Hamnet next. Uh, I have not read the novel. I don't plan on reading the novel anytime soon. The movie was enough for me. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, uh, I don't really have much to say about that. Do you have anything
no,
to say about it?
I think I might read the novel. I have it, so I might read it. But I think Maggie O'Farrell, who wrote the book, she also wrote the screenplay. So I assume it's pretty consistent, consistent adaptation, which is nice. Yeah, I thought the writing, especially in the ending, was good, even though the ending was improvised. Because I'm not sure if you know, but there's a big news story about how 4 days before wrapping, Chloe Zhao listened to On the Nature of Daylight, and that's how they came up with the ending. I thought it was a writing thing, and I was like, wow, that's it's very cool that they got that all without dialogue. Um, but no, it was just a director's choice. But still, the screenplays, it's good. It's Shakespeare.
Yeah. And then finally, Train Dreams. Uh, I don't.
It's my favorite movie of the year.
I know sometimes it just doesn't hit with people, and I'm so sorry it didn't hit with me. Uh, yeah.
I'm assuming you haven't read the book it's based off.
No, I have not.
Yeah, no, I have not either.
But I
I'm
mean,
assuming it's faithful.
one would assume. I mean, I like Clint, uh, Clint Bentley and Greg Quiar's films. I mean, but Train Dreams just did not hit for me like Sing Sing did, and uh, no, no, it left me empty in a way, but not like emotionally. Just finishing it and being like, what was the point? Like, what was the point?
Yeah.
Like I finished a majority of these movies, with just coming away with something, but with Train Dreams, I was like, man, it looked great. The acting was fantastic. That's about it. Like, I felt like it was just an
Okay.
empty, a hollow. It's so beautiful on the outside, but just so hollow on the inside. And maybe I'm just dead inside, but who knows? But I just didn't get anything out.
So let's talk about. I'm trying to think what's good. Why don't we do the three Frankenstein nomination, like awards: costumes,
Production,
production, and makeup.
yeah. I mean, those categories aren't really like those are just super brief and
Yeah.
done. Like,
I think one thing I want to say about costume design is I just like everyone else when Avatar got nominated. That was hilarious. And I, just like everyone else, I was like, how the hell is this a thing? But I looked it up. It is so impressive what they did. They created over 2,000 pieces of costumes because, like, I know we're saying they're all digital, but, someone has to create and design those costumes. It's a really cool nomination. I'm so confused. I still can't get over how it got nominated, why none of the others got nominated, and this one did. but I think it's a really cool nomination, and I'm very happy for it. Like it's just so I don't know if something like this has ever happened before, where it's kind of all animated CGI costumes that have gone nominated, but I'm all here for it.
I don't know. Like, I had to unfollow one account because it was just like, this is CGI slop. And I'm like, look, if you're just not going to appreciate the craft, I just had no respect for you at all. Um, like, you cannot like something, but you got to respect the craft that went into it because, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people work on this stuff. I mean, they don't slop it together and then throw it on screen, but
Hmm.
that's the perks of being a cinephile. You have those too. and they don't appreciate things. But yeah, like you said, that's it's very impressive. Also, I was like, man, but aren't they all CGI? But then I also researched it, and they're like, no, we made them. Like, okay, that's enough for me. You deserve the
Yeah.
nomination. Um,
Hmm.
Frankenstein winning this, I mean, it was Frankenstein's to win, and everyone else's to lose.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
I
from
love that this was like agreed upon. These three wins were like, okay, Frankenstein, here you go. Like it wasn't even a debate. Not that there was much competition. I think if Wicked was in there, we could have had a bit more of a discussion. But
yes,
yeah, this is just Frankenstein's, and I think we can let's think about Wicked. Why? How the hell did it not get any nominations? Even if we ignore Ariana Grande because it's an above the line thing, whatever. How did it not get a costume nomination? I don't
or
understand.
even makeup. The makeup was
Yeah,
incredible, but I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
the
someone needs to study what happened.
yeah, maybe the Academy is like, hey, it didn't make any money. Let's not nominate it. Which, if
Yeah.
so, that's a stupid reason
Mm,
I ever heard one. Um, because you can't ignore the craft in a well-crafted film.
mm.
I mean, that
Especially because all the costumes were completely new. Every
yes,
character
they
had
were different.
however many.
Yes, it was.
I just could not believe it.
I could not either. It's the rise and fall of Wicked was such a fascinating thing, and it's like that with every award season. There's this movie that you're just so confident it's going to get in, and then it just never goes through, and it just absolutely baffles me that some films are like that because you just know, and you've seen the proof that they are well crafted, and it blows your
Mm,
mind. You're like, this is so great, and nothing comes of it, and
mm.
that's incredibly disappointing for Wicked. And I'm pretty sure John M. Chu, if he ever got an invitation to join the Academy, he probably would shun them because
Yeah,
they just crabbed all over a film he spent like 4 years working on. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, that's pretty rough for Wicked to take a hit like that. And I mean, everything
Good.
was Frankenstein's to win because it's a Guillermo del Toro film. I
Yeah.
mean, he loves his makeup, he loves his production design, he loves his costumes. Just give it
And
to
there
him.
you go. It's always like, yeah, the one film that I think it was Poor Things 2 years ago, it was Wicked last year. It was Frankenstein this year, and it's just always costume production design that comes together. So that was a nice little package for Frankenstein.
I agree, yes, and I was happy for the wins. I mean, production design is gorgeous in Frankenstein, even though it is this. I mean, I always joke about Guillermo del Toro films. I call them the greenest movies I've ever seen in my entire
Mm,
life because
definitely.
it's like he puts a green filter over everything. Like Nightmare Alley looked green. As the Shape of Water looked really green. Frankenstein looked really green. I don't know if he just loves the green filter or what, but I call it the greenest film ever seen. But I mean, like I said, it was Frankenstein's win. Like who else was going? Like Sinners in production design, they had the church and then the
They had the
bar.
barn in Annie's house. Yeah,
That's
just nothing
about
like
it. It wasn't super. It wasn't like Frankenstein, like spectacle. Like when you think
yeah.
production design, you think spectacle, and it was not spectacle.
The Academy really likes world building and entering a new world, and there was world building in Sinners, of course,
Yes,
but
but
Frankenstein really fits
yeah,
fits the bill for that fantasy sci-fi
I
thing.
agree. And then one battle after another getting production design, it would probably be for Bob's House and then the Christmas Adventurers little.
Sensei's place as well, but
Yeah, but
he had
not.
nomination.
Yeah, it's a little odd. And then Marty Supreme, I will defend that nomination. Production design was fantastic. If you take New York City of the modern day and turn it into New York City of the 50s, you did a great job. And it's Jack Fisk, so
Mhm.
I will not
Yeah,
argue with that guy. And then Hamnet, of course, it's your traditional film set in the 1500s or whatever.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And they built the Globe Theatre, which I thought
yeah.
was
So
cool. But, you know, yeah,
it still was not Frankenstein world building
no,
wise. And then makeup, Frankenstein won, of course, deservedly
obviously.
so. I did not see Kokuo, so
I
again,
really wanted to watch Kokuo, and then I saw it was 3 hours,
I
and I
did
was like,
too, and I was like, no, I can't do that.
yeah, maybe not.
Okay,
But
and then
I did, I didn't see the Smashing Machine either. Um, I really wanted to. I should have seen it, but I didn't get to it. And then I saw The Ugly Stepsister, and I watched it a couple months ago because it premiered I don't know where it premiered, but it premiered at a festival and I was intrigued. And the makeup is good. It's similar to The Substance in that it's a body horror, nothing like The Substance, of course. So it's a cool nomination. It's really cool.
yeah, I did not see the ugly sister, but I saw the smashing machine, and the makeup's very good. I mean, The Rock is kind of recognizable, but not really. He does truly transform into Mark Kerr. When you see Mark Kerr at the end of the film, it's very surprisingly how good of a job they did. And then Sinners, the makeup's it is good. It's good makeup, but it's not like
Just yeah, Jack O'Connell at the
yeah,
end with this as Remick.
yeah, or
Just
cornbread, with his face like being mauled. But
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right. Yeah, no, all the
there's not a
vampires.
lot. There's not a lot in it. It's not like Frankenstein where it's
No,
Jacob Elordi being strapped to a chair for a crazy amount of time.
yeah,
And then let's see, costume design. What else was nominated in there? Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners.
yeah, nothing like Frankenstein.
Nothing like Frankenstein.
I really want to bring up visual effects because I really was invested in this category this year. Avatar 1, obviously, we predicted that a year ago. Um, I was holding out hope that it wouldn't win just because it's number three and they didn't do anything new, but obviously it's above anything that you've ever seen. It's all that is talked about with Avatar, but I was really holding out hope or like I would have loved to see a win for either F1 or Sinners because F1 it was there was some times that they shot on the actual track, but a lot of it was VFX. If you guys watch some VFX breakdowns of F1, it's insane how much was not actually there. And so that I thought that was a really, really cool nomination. And also Sinners because they invented technology that like mapped Michael B. Jordan's face onto the other twin because obviously he can't film at the same time. And I thought
Yeah,
that was really inventive. But at the end of the day, Avatar is Avatar, and I'm excited for its next two Oscar wins.
yeah. Um, and I mean the other one, like Jurassic World Rebirth, I did not watch because I
Mm,
lost faith in the Jurassic World franchise a long time ago,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
I was not going to waste my money seeing that. And then The Lost Bus, I'd heard about it. I was like, eh. I
Yeah.
mean, it just
I
wasn't anything special.
no, but it's the VFX. I just saw a quick breakdown. They did a lot with the fire, with it being really realistic, and I saw a lot of experts were crediting it because they did such a good job of making it so realistic. So I'm liking that we're going away from like the superhero blockbuster, aside from Jurassic World
Yes.
nominations, and we're really looking at the craft. I hope we do more of that next year.
Yeah, I think sometimes the Academy loses focus about. I mean, in the craft categories, they do better than like the acting side because I mean it's all a craft. every single
Mm,
branch is, but, I mean, the editors, the cinematographers, the production designers, those tend to really take craft way more seriously than the actors do because the actors are, "Oh, you had a narrative, let's nominate you," and like we talked about earlier, it's all about the craft, and
mm.
they took the craft seriously in 2 acting categories, uh, more than they did in others, but
Mm, mm,
okay, let's see
mm.
here. I guess film editing, we can talk about that.
Yeah, one battle won, and I think it had the best editing of the year simply because it was the fastest 3-hour movie that I've ever seen.
Yes,
The
I
River of
agree.
Hill scene is great. The pacing is done great. That's why Secret Agent didn't get a nomination. Um, yeah, I was very happy that one battle won. I don't think there was another, I guess, contender. You could say that Sinners just because it was front runner. It was
Or
second one overall.
F1, maybe,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because it's
F1.
just so fast and dynamic, but
Yeah,
or Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme was super dynamic. It's a 2-hour plus movie. Um, Sentimental Value, though, that's an interesting
it
nomination.
is. I think I feel like if I was to rewatch it, like this, it's not as flashy as
Mhm.
the other one. I think it probably does more in terms of contrasting the images and interplaying like the different storylines. And that's why I got the editing nomination. But it's, yeah, I think it's just an overall support for the film.
Yeah, I agree. Um, we covered sound. I mean, I don't think F1
Mm.
won, Frankenstein won Battle, Sinners and Surratt were all nominated. Do you have anything to say about the sound category or just
Yeah, I'll just say Surratt is an excellent nomination.
I haven't
I'm
seen that
very
either.
happy
I
with
really failed in the international side.
it's good. Neon did flood the market a little bit too much this year, but Surratt is a great nomination. And I wish that Warfare won, or at least was nominated. That came out like exactly this time last year, and the sound work is insane. I wish that that was more recognized. But yeah, again, just it was too small.
Yeah.
But one battle's a good one.
Yeah, one battle. Yeah. And then F1 won. I mean, we it was just like Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, F1 won.
Yeah. So that's that. Okay. Let's see here. Do you want to what have we got left? We got international feature, we've got casting, animated
Oh that
feature, original song and score, and then the
and then
shorts and documentaries, and then we'll be done. But
well, animated feature was obviously K-pop
it
Demon
was
Hunters.
K-pop Demon. Like, there's no if, ands, or but. I mean, it was everyone. It was K-pop's to win, everyone else's to lose. I'm
Yeah,
saying that over and over. The listeners are probably like, we understand by now, but I mean, if you're winning everything like K-pop was, you don't stand a chance.
mhm, yeah.
And
And then it's the same in best song.
yeah, and best song other than "I Lied to You" and "Golden," eh,
Yeah,
it
Diane
was.
Warren got her 17th nomination.
God bless that woman. She's just like
She's really
it.
she's really good
She
to
is
come to these ceremonies.
she is literally relentless.
Oh yeah,
She will
I
not
mean,
stop. I mean, she already has the honorary Oscar. Just take it as that and just quit campaigning because you have one. They consider that an Oscar. If you get the Grammy and the Emmy and the Tony, you'll be an EGOT even with the honorary Oscar. Just call it a day, boom, you're done. Just
I hope
don't
she
worry
wins
about
once though. Just for
it. Just so we
why do
don't
they
have to
keep
see her
doing
about it.
so?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like they're just dangling like, oh, you want an Oscar? Oh, no, too bad. We're giving it to someone else for the 17th time. Just like,
yeah. I think if she wins, I don't know if they'll just never nominate her again. If they don't nominate her ever again, that'd be really funny. If they just give her the win and then stop with the nominations.
yeah, I feel like that's what they would have to do because,
But
I
if
mean,
we think about it, in 4 years, she's going to be more nominated than Meryl Streep.
yeah, I know. I mean, she got nominated for the Flamin' Hot movie. She got
Yeah.
nominated for that Glenn Close to Mila Kunis movie that three people watched.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she's got some weird. Oh yeah, she got that one for that Tyler Perry movie, the 688, which like no one
No one watched
saw.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know why the Academy keeps going to Diane Warren. Like I know for a fact there are better original songs out there, yet they still keep going to her. Uh, Not saying that she's a bad songwriter. Maybe she's just not the best songs to be done.
Christopher Nolan needs to go to her and says, Diane Warren, please write a song for the Odyssey. Like, I don't know why she's not pursuing these big filmmakers. She will get her Oscar win.
Yes, she needs to pursue like Spielberg or Nolan or maybe even Chloe Zhao. You know, like
Yeah.
someone that like you
Yeah,
don't
and then
need.
she'll get her Oscar.
Yeah, don't go to like Tyler Perry, who's known to make low quality studio comedies, or whoever made the Flamin' Hot movie. Like, just don't go to these super
Hmm.
small films that two people saw and those two people voted on it. Like, just don't. Work with a big filmmaker and you'll get that Oscar you always dreamed of, and none of us will ever have to see you at the Oscars again
Yes.
and
That'd
have
be
to
nice.
complain about your songs. But yeah, Golden One original song, I Lied to You was, I mean, they were based, I mean, Golden was winning regardless. It won everything
Hmm.
else. And I Lied to You was also winning everything. But I mean, Viva Verde, I didn't even know about
I
that
haven't seen
film.
it. I didn't know it was a thing,
They
and
could
it
have
just
they could have put another song from Sinners in here. I mean, honestly, like why did you have to just keep it to one film? I mean, Beauty and the Beast when it got 3 songs in 91. I mean,
wow,
yeah.
wow.
So, like, why can't we do that with Sinners? Like, just sneak another
Yeah,
song in and kick
just,
Diane Warren or Viva Verde out. Like,
just
or one of the songs from Wicked for Good. Like, I don't know
no,
what.
no, no, no,
No,
no. I'll say no. As soon as I found out that Cynthia Erivo hadn't written that song, and that it was Stephen Schwartz, I took it out.
really.
I did because I just thought, I don't know why everyone thought that Cynthia Erivo wrote the song. And then we found out that she didn't. And if she had written it, I would be like, EGOT. Because I was saying, guys, Cynthia Erivo wrote the Wicked song. She's going to get nominated and win her EGOT. But then it turns out she didn't write it. I was like, okay, why are we going to give it to a Wicked song?
I mean,
And then it just didn't get any nominations at all.
yeah, it's
It's so embarrassing. It's so
so
bad.
sad. I guess the original song will go into original score then.
Oh, this was a fun category. Just
The
the nominations were insane this year.
the scores were really good this year, and I love that the show did what they did in the 2020, which would be for the 2019 Oscars, or movies. Like when it was Little Women. What was nominated that year? It was Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Rise of Skywalker, which is a terrible
Nice,
film, and then
but
I
it's John
cannot,
Williams.
and then Joker. Yes, those were the 5 nominees. And
Yeah,
remember when they did that on that year, they showed the orchestra playing everything and from each film, and
that was very cool this year.
they did that this year, and I was so excited because that gives the audience a chance to listen to a smidge of the score and how great it sounds. And we all knew Sinners was going to win this. There were no ifs, ands, buts, or about it.
Yes.
I mean, if Ludwig writes your score, you're gonna win, and everyone else is
Hmm.
toast. So,
He has gone 3 for 3 now.
yep.
I wonder if he's going to go 4 for 4 with the Odyssey. We'll see. John Williams could win, or Hans Zimmer could win for Dune. It's going to be really interesting.
But Hans Zimmer got kicked out of last year's
But he did
Dr.
so.
Score, so he might not be eligible for this year's
Yeah.
if he decides to not um write any kind of new material for it.
But yeah, Ludwig is really in the leagues of John Williams or Hans Zimmer. People might not be ready to say that yet, but I reckon he definitely
But
is.
his scores are so distinct, though. If you the score even
Yeah,
for Black Panther is very, you know,
different to Oppenheimer, different to
Africa.
Sinners.
Yes, each one is distinct. Like in John Williams, his scores are distinct, but they they have a John Williams touch. It's
Mhm.
a little bit of that. Even Schindler's List has a little bit of that winking that John Williams. I call it like a John Williams wink because it's just there's something distinct about it that isn't all of
Mhm.
his scores. Um, like he was even nominated for Home Alone. John Williams was, and it's got that John Williams wink to it. But Hans Zimmer, he, I did like Hans Zimmer, but as time progressive, he's getting samey. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but
Yeah.
his scores aren't really, different. They're not.
Yeah.
There's no
Like,
variety to it. It's very much like we're gonna make loud noises and we're gonna get nominated. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, be creative with it. And
mm,
I feel like he's just sticking to his loud techno strings or whatnot, and it's just not doing it for me. Like, I need like the score tells the story, and I feel like it's just overpowering most of the story. Like, I don't even like the Inception score because it's so
oh,
loud.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's just if I die, the cinephile
That's
community killed me for all my hot takes today, but
oh, yeah.
it's okay.
Um, Matt, I gotta let you know, I have 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes. We can though, I have to go get the bus home, but I can continue when I get home. We can keep going if you want.
Well,
What do you
since you
reckon?
have 10 minutes, oh gosh, it's almost midnight my time, so I guess we'll briefly talk about casting and international, and we can leave the documentaries and shorts to the side.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
sounds
that'll be
okay
fun.
with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So,
international feature was between Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent. The Sentimental Value won just because it was the better film, in my opinion. Sorry to the Brazilians, they didn't win international feature this time.
no.
But Sentimental Value is a great win.
Yeah, I
And
agree. And Neon almost had 5 for 5 this year, but
most,
the voice of Henry Job just kicked no other choice out of the way, and Neon almost had it.
almost. It was very impressive that they managed to do as well as they did because I think all of those films performed well. Like Sentimental Value, obviously, Surratt performed well. Secret Agent performed really well. They did a good job. They did a good job with the five they had. Maybe a bit too much though.
Yeah, they really they could have focused more on like Twinless campaigning for like Dylan
Yeah.
O'Brien or someone in there for like
Mm,
original screenplay or something. But yeah, Neon had a great year. A20, yeah, A24 had a great year. A lot of the
Warner Brothers had a great year.
Warner Brothers had an excellent year, and then they sold the studio
Yeah,
to Paramount. That's a
I believe
different
it.
podcast conversation. Um, yeah, sentimental value won, deservedly so. Joaquin has an Oscar. Brazilians lost, but they got it last year. We'll be okay.
That'll be
Um,
fun.
then casting. Everyone, this
Then
was
category.
completely new. Uh, we're getting stunts in a couple of years. I'm excited. Uh,
Yes.
Casting was interesting because everyone thought it was going to go the way of SAG Ensemble, but I'd explain.
Hmm.
I'd explained to a friend of mine. He's like, "Sinners is going to get casting." I'm like, "No, it's not." And they said, "Because it got SAG Ensemble." I'm like, "No, it's not." He said, "Why?" I said, he did not know. I mean, this dude is very educated, but he did not know anything about how the Academy branches work. So I'd explain to him, I'm like, listen, actors vote for actors, directors vote for directors. You know, that whatever category it is, only they vote for. I said, casting directors vote for the casting directors. I said, no one else has it. No, no one else does it. And he's like, oh,
I
really? I
still
was like,
thought that I thought that Sinners would win because their casting director, Francine Maisler, is if you look at her filmography, she has every film. She has Dune, Little Women, she had Challenges. I think she did a Harry Potter. She did Sinners, of course. She did yeah, I don't remember, but I remember when I looked at her list, I was like, geez, this woman is very impressive. but one
And
battle won,
yeah,
and
because
that I think for the future, this is either because casting is going to go to the Best Picture winner, or it's about finding like new talent, like with Chase Infinity.
yeah, like the casting director for one battle after another, Cassandra Kulikundis, she's casted all of Paul Thomas Anderson's film, and if you think about it, like she found Philip Seymour Hoffman before he got really big, John C. Riley before he got really big, Mark Wahlberg for Dirk Diggler and Boogie Nights, Burt Reynolds changing his career path completely, um, like Daniel Day, like you could go on and on. Like this
Mm,
woman has found great people for great parts. Like Adam Sandler fitting him in a movie where he was known for being this really funny comedian known for stupid films, and picking him, being like, "Oh yeah, this guy's got it too."
hmm
Being this dramatic, like
Yeah,
this, I, s- I think her win is perfectly justified because she truly changed the career path of many actors and found many actors. And I mean, congratulations to her. And she bragged that she got one before PTA did
yeah, that was
at
funny.
night, and that was hilarious. I was very happy for her. But casting, we have nothing to look back on. This is the first one.
It's
Yeah,
going to be interesting
it's
to
going to be
predict this
interesting.
in the future.
Yeah,
I
and I
don't
mean, I don't think we need to rely on SAG Ensemble and everything
know.
because these are casting agents voting for casting directors voting for casting directors, and I believe that they truly know. Like SAG Ensemble, it's actors voting for actors. Like, oh, we like this group here, we're going to nominate them. I think casting directors are truly going to be like, who did they find? It's they know all the little
Yeah,
details that now, like even the secret agent got nominated, and Marty Supreme. And Marty Supreme, they found a lot of nobodies, and
yeah.
they turned in great performances. And um,
I think casting's a
Hamnet,
really good category to add
it is a great
for all
category.
those reasons.
That and the stunts.
Yeah, stunts is going to be really interesting to see what's nominated. I wonder if they'll go all action blockbusters or if they'll do some cool things. I really hope they do.
I don't know. Only time will tell, and I'm very hopeful about these two categories.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's um yeah, that's all the categories. I'll just mention for a quick minute about documentary and shorts. Um yeah, documentary went to Mr. Nobody against Putin, not the perfect neighbor. I was rooting for the perfect neighbor, but Mr. Nobody against Putin is still a good win. I think it mostly won because people see the word against Putin and they're like, okay, tick. Even though I recommend the perfect neighbor to absolutely everyone, it's on Netflix right now. Um, and then with the shorts, live action short was a tie, which is first time in 12 years. And they were my two favorites. The Singers is on Netflix. Everyone, please go watch that. And Two People Exchanging Saliva is a French Black Mirror-esque thing. And that's really, really cool. And the animated ones and documentary short I haven't watched, but the documentary short, All the Empty Rooms, is on Netflix. So check that out. That's obviously an Oscar-winning film.
so any reflections on the 2025 Oscar season? When
It was very exciting. It was unpredictable. It had a lull and then sag and then it became chaos. Probably the most fun I've had with predicting, and I think you're just reminded every year. You look back at nominating things like thinking about like After the Hunt, Jay Kelly, Wicked, The Testament of Anne Lee,
yeah,
um,
things fizzled out
Anemone,
real quick.
and
Yeah.
things was out really quick. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens next year with what we're predicting. I'm actually really curious because I'm going to look back at what we were predicting last year because I think we mentioned it at the end of last year's podcast and see how right we get. I reckon we probably mentioned Wicked a bit. Um,
Yeah, we were probably
and
like,
this year,
Ariana's gonna get it, and then Amy Madigan's
yeah,
like, "It's mine." So yeah, that didn't happen. Uh,
yeah, this year I think there's a lot of big names, a lot of blockbusters. We got, the Odyssey Project, Mary, Michael, Dune. Digger, Spielberg's film. I'm really excited to see what's going to get nominated. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I am too. It's going to be an interesting year. This year seems bigger than last year. I don't know how to explain it, but it is. And
Mm.
I hope we get some great performances like we did this year with Frankenstein and Sinners and One Battle and Weapons and Sentimental Value. And If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And like we had some really cool choices and cool wins this year. And I'm still riding high on Amy Madigan's win. I might watch her
Yes,
speech again after this
I think I am
because
too.
it she's just I'm just so happy for her, and I don't know why. I don't even know the one, but I'm just so happy for her, and
Mhm.
well deserved. And I hope Ed Harris gets one so they can have Oscars. That
It'll happen.
yeah, it'll happen. Uh, Thanks for
And yeah,
coming on the pod again.
thank you, man, so much for having me again. Love talking about Oscars with you and for the podcast. It's great to reflect on the season because we do really spend a lot of hours dissecting it and looking into everything and watching all the as much as we can. So it's really fun to look back and reflect on how insane it usually is, which it absolutely was this year.
It was, and
Yeah.
I have hope for cinema. We're not dead yet.
No,
We're
it's gonna
still
come back. Not like opera
we're,
and ballet though.
no. I mean, okay, there went our Oscar chances, but shut
Awesome.
up. But
Yeah.
thanks for coming on the pod, and I will try to not wait a year for Oscar season. I need to have you back on more. We'll talk about other
Yeah,
things,
we definitely do.
the
Yeah.
Academy Awards.
Yeah, well, it was great to chat again with you, man. Yeah, thank you all for listening. I don't know if we went longer than last year, but last year was pretty long, so I think we got somewhere in the 3 hour range.
Oh yeah, we definitely no, we're like 2.5 hours. We definitely undercut.
Um,
Yeah, we did less than last year, which is a big step. Yeah, I have a good rest of your day. I have a movie draft to prepare for tomorrow,
yes,
so
I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited for it,
uh,
man. Oh,
yeah.
let's speak to you again.
Nice to speak to you. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, I'll see you, man. Bye.